scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the crop, gotta love it or not. I'm hot from the hop to the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with the scrub the spot, get the club to pop. When I come up with everybody, we do it. Everybody, we do it.
Come on, black boys, nigga. Hey, I be dropping out of control like a maniac. Man, friendly, nice niggas, they let me see it. I take this shit, like all these bitches up me. I be having hoes break they man. Don't let me see it happen. I'm gonna shoot his ass just like a crab. Man, today I'm feeling Christian Dior. Nigga got 26 in Mary jeans, some money, probably 40 in the store. Hellcat, been in them borders, we get bored. We in the hood, making niggas in the house just like Corey. Man, I've been counting money all day. It's like I told my ACL, I don't play. I don't play G's yesterday, today I'm a word of K. And how he make it to the hospital, I'm still alive. I think the doctor had the cake. Hey, I ain't tripping, you know what comes around goes around. I think that mean that you catch around. See, we them niggas burn it out and find another time. Facing out, trying to make it honey, just like Kevin Lyles.
Moment of silence for the alt niggas. Moment of silence for the alt niggas. Shh, moment of silence for the alt niggas. Yeah. 30 pop out in Cali just like Stephen Curry. I ain't wanna get that nigga straight, he deserve it. When that hit get city, it ain't no way you can avoid it. I been counting money all day, how should I spend it? On my ups, on my bitch, shit, them decisions. Might as well get them wet, I don't leave no weakness. Fucking on this bad bitch, you wanna have my children. I'm popping Percocet, serious, like it's breathing. Hold on, come on, let's slide the phones. If you catch her up and pop them, leave them drunk like Patron. Yeah, I feel like walk with the cone. Last nigga tried to rob, I sent some shots at it down. Big worm, I'm the one who send the shots at it home. Killers by me every day if I was you.
What is good? You already know what the deal is. It's that Thursday night, feels like a Friday. Because that's how hype, that's how sick this shit is. When you're tuned into the coolest reptile podcast in the game. What is good? I'm your boy, MJ. What the fuck is cracking, everybody? I hope you're enjoying your Thursday evening. It's about to get better. Even if it's going good, it's about to get better. Before we get started, please do me a favor. This is your first time tapping into the coolest reptile. What's up, early birds? I see you. If this is your first time tapping into the coolest reptile podcast in the world, please do your boy a favor. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the dislike button. Doesn't matter to me. Any kind of reaction is cool. You know, I'm going to give you two solid reasons other than the first reason why you should subscribe. I do these every Thursday night, 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. I do this every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I don't fucking miss a beat. I do this for reals. I'm all about learning, man. I'm really passionate about the keeping and breeding of the animals I keep. So anybody I bring on to the episode is to benefit not only myself, but anybody out there looking to pursue and progress into their fucking reptile keeping career. So this is it. I hope you're tapped in. I hope you're ready to go. Before we get started, shout out to the sickest, the freshest, and bestest frozen thawed rodent company in the game by far. $30 flat rate shipping. That's www.coldbloodedcafe.com. Freshest and bestest. Day one, pinks, all the way to mammoth rats. Whatever it is that you need, they got it. I'm telling you right now. So shout out to Steven. Shout out to Desiree. The whole Cold-Blooded Cafe, way to go to fucking lead the industry and what you guys been doing. Another industry leader right here, Sim Containers, Sim Boxes, man. So many of you hatching eggs this season in sim boxes. You're tagging me. You're tagging sim. I love it, man. Let's keep doing that. Let's keep showing everybody the success you guys are having with these sim containers. It's amazing. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to fucking John. Sim containers. Give them a follow on Instagram. Trust me. They got a lot of cool content with monitors. I'm telling you, man. Good stuff going on over there. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to John. Focus Cube Habitats. What's good? You guys need to go check out Focus Cube Habitats. If you haven't already, the future of enclosures are now here. I'm telling you, man. Nice, sturdy, PVC built enclosures. Very easy to move around. You can play textures all you want in your room. Switch things around. I love doing that. So make sure you go check them out. I can't wait to show off the new enclosure I have coming. And yeah, it's all good things over at Focus Cube Habitats. Flex in Texas. You know what's good. Shout out to all my Texans out there. And then shout out to Jesse. Shout out to the Freedom Breeder crew. Thank you so much to the Freedom Breeder crew. Stainless steel racks made in the United States. Thank you for supporting the trap. It means a lot to me. You have no idea to have somebody like Freedom Breeder standing behind the trap and fucking backing me up. So mad love, mad respect. I appreciate anyone out there who fucks with Freedom Breeder for sure. Because guess what? Freedom Breeder does not lose any value. Facts. So how can you go wrong with that, man? Speaking about never losing value, shout out to the big dog himself. Always evolving pythons. Always motivating the fucking shit out of me. I'm telling you right now, this guy's making big moves after big moves. I have not yet to find out what it is that he's done in Mexico and Puerto Rico, but it sounds huge. He's celebrating right now. But shout out to my boy Miguel, man. I just want to say, bro, thank you for everything that you're doing. Thank you for continue to inspire me. Even though we don't talk every day like we used to, I still love you. And all I got to say, man, is just keep inspiring, bro. Thank you so much. And you guys know what I'm talking about. If you guys follow me, you know why this energy is the way it is for him. Okay. And then shout out to US Art, guys. The fight never stops. Let's go. US Art, push it, man. Let's do what we got to do. People trying to take away our animal rights. I look at these fucking snakes, these monitors. I want even the grasshoppers, man. These are my children's. I raise these things. I want to protect them. I'm pretty sure you guys feel the same way. So what can we do to ensure we're protected? Let's fucking help US Art fight for our laws, man. So make sure you go down to the link, okay? Make sure you become a member of US Art. If you can't become a member of US Art, just talk about it, man. Share it on your stories. Give that energy out because that's what we need. I'm telling you right now, nobody is fucking taking our animals away. Plain and simple. All right? And then shout out to Herper Merch. If you guys are looking to come up on some Trap Talk podcast hoodies or t-shirts, mask or some AEP gear, go to herpermerch.com, man. See what he has. Shout out to my boy Cedric. Thanks for supporting the trap. Really appreciate it. But I would love to see you fools rocking some trap gear when I'm at the shows, man, because I'm going to be at all the shows, best believe, for sure. And before we get into the early birds, please, if you guys want to find out how you could get in touch with me or reach out to me or give me some great feedback, Ball Python community, if you want to go ahead and be able to do that, reach out to me on Instagram, mjexoticscartal with an A, not an E. And you can follow the podcast's Instagram account too, Trap Talk with MJ Podcast. Shout out to my Twitch viewers. Let's get our Twitch viewers out. Who's out there on Twitch? Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. But I'm also on Twitch, guys. So any platform I could use, I'm going to use. Twitch is there. So Trap Talk with MJ Podcast on Twitch. I'm on TikTok, MJ Exotics Cartel 619. And then last but not least, my Patreon members. You guys know, you know what the deal is, man. Shout out to my Trap Patreon members, my family. If you out there are looking to be a part of some sort of community that helps you grow with keeping these animals or learning about these animals, then look no further. I'm telling you right now, you're going to want to go down to the link below, click on the Trap Patreon link, okay? Join the Trap Patreon. Come see the community that I've been building. Come see how real deal these people are. And I'm telling you right now, you are not going to be disappointed. I'm fucking super proud, super passionate about all my Patreon members. They're going to be going big places, and that's a fucking fact. So shout out to my Patreon members. Thank you so much for supporting me. And all my trappers in general, thank you so much, guys. I hope you guys have had a great week. I am super excited about today's episode. We got a round two, one-on-one round two. He's been on here twice already, but this is his second one-on-one with me. And, before we get into him and say what's up, we got to say what up to the early birds. What is good? All my trappers. Let's see. Let's scroll up. Okay, let's see. Big T Exotics. My wife is due any day now. Congratulations, man. Boy or girl, let me know. Rooting for either one. Doesn't matter. Patrick, what is up, Patrick? Hope you're ready for a great show. JP, God damn you, JP. Hannah, what's up, Hannah? How are you? I hope you're ready. Hannah is actually a Trap Patreon member, one of my family members. So what's up, Hannah, in the building? What's up, Nate Dog 13? How you doing, Nate? Black Smoke Reptiles. That's a homie right there. What's up, Black Smoke? We got a Patreon soldier in the building. What is good, Jacob? Thank you for tapping in with us, my man. Jason, family all day. What's up, Jay? How you doing, buddy? Let's see who else is here. Arrow 422. How you doing, Arrow 422? Thanks for tapping in. Josh, what up, Josh? Hope you're having a wonderful day. The Josh, no disrespect to the other Josh, but this is my Josh right here, Josh Fallon. This is a made Trap Patreon member right here. This fool's family for life. But what is good, Josh? Hope you're doing good, man. Scales, fins, and feathers. What is cracking? Hope you're doing good. And then we have the fucking security of the Trap Year Zero Reptiles, Chandler. What is good, buddy? Thanks for tapping in. Another Patreon savage right here, Tyler King. What's up, Tyler King? Hope you're ready for a good show. All right, guys. Hold on. Jay Hendo. I got to say what up to my homie Jay Hendo and HB Reptiles. HB Reptiles sick as fuck too. All right, guys. What is good? So Canada in the building tonight. Super excited. This guy right here has been through the ringer for sure. And when I say ringer, any of you out there who are pursuing some sort of a social media career with the animals, know that if you're making traction and you're doing things, you're going to be put through the ringer. You want to know why? Because motherfuckers hate. People just love to talk shit. And to some people, it's not easy to deal with. Some people get negativity and they hear shit, even though most of it's not true. And it breaks them down. And it makes them quit. It makes them not pursue their dreams. Not my man here. My man's tapping in. He's from Canada. Yeah, he's a father now. And he's killing it still in the ball python game. And here he is, our man, JP Reptiles. What's up, JP?
What's going on, guys? What's up, MJ? Always a pleasure to be here with you.
I'm glad to have you, bro. It's always a pleasure to bring you on, JP. How you been living, man? How's everything?
I've been living off coffee, as you can see right here with my beautiful daughter right here on the mug.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you. So it's been a roller coaster the last 3 months. She's actually going to be 3 months old in 3 days. And for everybody who's wondering why I haven't been on YouTube or I'm posting a little bit less on Instagram, it's between the animals and the baby life, man, it's just a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but it's fun. It's fun.
Right. Let me ask you this, JP, because I'm just so curious. What kind of baby has your daughter been so far? Like, is she a good sleeper? Does she not sleep? Is she a crier? Just give us a little feedback on how your holdback is treating you so far.
The first couple of months was challenging, man. I mean, nothing really ever prepared me for this. We did a lot of research and we tried to prepare as much as we could, but she was something called colic. For anybody who's parents out there, I'm sure they know what colic means. It just means that for an unexplained reason, the baby is crying nonstop, and it could last hours. It could last, all day, all night. Ours was exceptionally bad. Like, she would cry pretty much all day and all night for no reason. And it was really challenging. It really, took a lot out of us the first couple of months, but we got through it. And we're happy to say that the last 3-4 weeks, she's kind of like just turned a corner. I mean, she just went from being like really challenging to just being a happy baby. Like, most days now, she's up, she's awake, she's alert. She's not really fussing too much, and she sleeps well.
Did you tell her I booked you for this? Is that what it was?
Yeah, no, not quite.
Oh, okay. I was like, dang, maybe you finally told her you're coming back on round 2, and it made her just so happy, like, fuck, finally, Dad,
Yeah, it was tough, man. It was really tough, but it was a lot of joy at the same time, and we're just happy to kind of, put that behind us and move forward and enjoy actually be able to hold her, and she's smiling back at you and not crying. It's a great experience.
Good for
you. It was just hard to get there. That's all.
Well, listen, nothing worth having is easy. You know what I mean? You got to work for it. And
that is very true. Yeah.
I've heard so many stories. I don't know what your plans are for number 2. I'm sure you guys aren't going to rush into it.
No. We're good.
Oh shit. But yeah, I've heard different scenarios where baby 1 was fucking so easy and baby 2 was like, what the fuck? Or baby 1 was like, what the fuck? And baby 2 was like, I mean, I don't know, man. Either way, I can only imagine.
Well, let's put it this way. My parents told me that I was exceptionally bad. I mean, they said I was like the worst child on the planet. So I wasn't expecting anything. I mean, it's only fair that I would get a little bit taste of what my parents went through. Luckily, I'm not going through it as long as what they went through. I mean, they told me it lasted years. But no, she's really good now. We're just happy to be past that. And
Thank God.
you know, it's funny because my partner wanted the second one, and then she's like, absolutely not. Like, it's not happening now. She's like, hell no. It's a lot, man. But it's like I said, now it's fun. You know, when you actually get to hold her and she looks at you, like, check this out. We got this nice picture where I was outside.
Oh, love it.
Holding her on my mug, and she's
So
just,
cute,
you know,
bro.
yeah, she's just chilling and she's happy. And, you know, so we waited 2 months to get to that level, but we're finally there. And hopefully my life can get back to a little bit of normalcy.
Well, talking about waiting for 2 months or waiting in general, man, let's talk about, you know, how it's been for you, man. Like, you and I kind of came up in the game together. You know, I feel like I came up more on the podcast side and networking myself like that. You did mostly the work with not only your breeding, but you did a lot of great fucking, you know, stuff on your YouTube. So like, where are we at right now, man? How are things been with all that?
So I had to take a little bit of a pause from YouTube just because I finished my season last year in November. Okay. And they're like, I'm not one of those guys that just wants to put out content for the sake of content. Like, I want to make sure that anybody that stumbles across my channel, every single video means something. Every single video has something of value. And, you know, going over the winners, there's just not a lot of happening. Like, yeah, I could make some videos, just opening tubs, showing some breedings and that kind of stuff. But I just feel like my personal audience wants something a little bit more. They actually want to see babies. They want to see results. They want me to talk more in depth. And there's just that transitional period between last year and this year where there's just not much going on. And then you throw a baby in the mix and it just like, I thought like my plans was to get YouTube going again. And then, you know, baby life was definitely a lot harder than I thought. And they had to put that on pause a little bit longer. But hey, if there's anybody up here in the GTA, Toronto area, or anywhere in Southern Ontario, and you're bored and you know how to edit videos and you want to come by the house and work with me on weekends, shoot some stuff and take over the editing, then I'm all for it.
Hey, let's talk about how you started. What did you do in the beginning? You did that with Billy. You went over to his place and you learned how to do all that shit on your own.
Yeah, people don't know the actual grind that I went through. Like I worked at the largest Honda store in Canada for a few years, and working at one of the best Honda stores in Canada means you have to work the longest hours that you would typically find in the industry. So I'd be working mostly 12-hour days, 6 days a week, only getting Sundays off. And I had to somehow find time. Like, there were times where I would have a split shift where I would have a couple hours off in between two shifts on, like, for example, a Thursday. And I would drive an hour all the way down to the Billy's facility to clean my animals, take care of them, shoot some quick clips. And I only had 15, 20 minutes to do it. And then I had to get back on the road for an hour of traffic to get back to work for the rest of my shift. Like, I was doing that kind of stuff. And long commutes, and it was a real grind, but I got through it. And now I'm more coasting, you know what I mean? Like, now I'm spending time with the family. We've made a lot of changes from the last time we've talked. You know, I've moved, we've left the city. I've got all kinds of stories about that. And you know, I want to spend as much time as possible right now with my daughter and my partner. And just, you know, I wasn't there as much when I was working in the dealership. Now that I have a bit more free time on my hands, I can dedicate more time to the family. But yeah, I'm definitely planning on getting the YouTube channel going again. It's definitely a hot topic. And like I said, if there's anybody in the Southern Ontario area that's great at editing, that wants to join the family, the JP family, and work on growing the channel with me, at this point, I need all the help I can get, right? So I would love it. Absolutely.
So JP, you and I were discussing a little bit during our sound check, kind of like a little unexpected, you know, situation happening with your breeding season this year, right? So you were like, hey man, I really wish people would prepare for this before they go crazy in investing snakes, right? Because
yeah,
let's talk about that a little bit. What's been going on with your breeding season this year?
So I just feel like a lot of people spend a lot of time researching and talking about acquiring animals, and everybody knows how fairly simple it is to breed. I mean, you could probably attest to that, given the awesome snakes that you have. That ball pythons are probably some of the easier snakes to breed, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people get this mindset that we're going to go out and acquire collections, or we're going to buy some animals, we're going to breed. It's fairly simple. The thing is that not, including myself, I'm equally at fault for this. Not a lot of people, or those people, also put the same energy or time into researching how you're going to feed those animals. And you know, it sounds simple. I'm going to just get a few rats. I'm going to buy from a local supplier, or this and that. I'm going to feed them. But you know, a lot of guys end up dealing with what I had to deal with this winter and experience some really nasty challenges when it comes to getting a reliable source of rodents on demand consistently, and the quality is there. I don't think there's enough emphasis sometimes on the quality of rodents. And I think it's important that these snakes get quality rodents, not just, from anybody. So there's a lack of research in that aspect of the business. And it caught me off guard this winter because unfortunately my season is still going to be pretty good, but it's not as good, or like my expectations are not fully going to be met because we ran out of rodents in the middle of the winter. I mean, there's a couple of rodent suppliers who just vanished off the face of the earth and said one day they don't want to do it anymore. So that kind of screwed us up really big time. And then demand started skyrocketing. More people started buying snakes, and the current suppliers, the very few suppliers that we had who were consistent, just were unable to keep up with demand. So it got so bad that over the winter, there were some weeks where I would drive to 3 different locations just to get partial orders every week. One of those locations was 2.5 hours away from my house. So imagine driving 2.5 hours just to get a partial order of rats that doesn't even fill your entire collection. And then you got to do that again a few days later somewhere else. I mean, that's how bad it got. And it really opened up my eyes to how important it is to, for anybody new who wants to come into the business and wants to breed reptiles. I mean, it's not that big of a deal if you've got a couple of handfuls of snakes, but when you start getting up into the hundreds plus, these are things you really got to have ironed out beforehand, because if your snakes don't eat, then you're not getting eggs, you're not getting production. As simple as that. They have to get calories in. And I'm not the only person going through this. I've talked to so many guys who have been caught off guard. Funny enough, there's a guy in another province here, and I just caught tail end of this story, but he lives in another province, and he reached out to one of our only suppliers here in Ontario, he wants to drive across the provinces to come here and pick up live rats to take back to his province, because all of his suppliers are done. They're gone, and he's screwed, right? So it's a dire situation, and it's not everywhere. I mean, there's some places where, especially in the States, like, in Justin's neck of the woods, he lives next door to a guy who produces like 50,000 rats a week. It's the largest operation I've ever seen in my life. It's absolutely crazy. But if you're like me, or in a situation where it's a little bit harder, and the guys that do exist currently are stressed to the nines, you got to have a contingency plan in place. And that's what we've been working on. We've come together, and we just said we can't allow this to happen again. And we have to do whatever it takes to get some production under our own belt, so there's less, requirement to rely on someone else. Because at the end of the day, if you're buying rats off of everybody else, essentially, people don't want to admit it, but you are basically relying your success on someone else. And nothing is worse in business when your success is totally predicated on someone else. You want to take that control if you can. And it was a challenge for us. I lived in Toronto before we moved, and obviously breeding rats out of a garage in a subdivision is just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and it wouldn't be feasible. So it's just, you got to make some life changes. So all I'm trying to say for anybody, I'm not trying to discourage anybody. I wouldn't change a thing. I absolutely love what I'm doing, but I would just tell anybody new coming into the industry, make sure you do as much research into the rodent side before you start acquiring the animals, and have plan B, plan C, because even if you've got one really good supplier, you never know. Maybe one day he wakes up and 3, 4, or a dozen of his nipples broke and his tub's flooded and he loses half his females. You know what I mean? Like, it can happen. Nipples. Yeah, but it can happen. Even the most reliable guys can have oopsies or low production, or maybe the heater in the winter breaks and all of a sudden they don't produce as much. Like, anything can happen. So I think it's so important for people to spend as much time, and don't end up in my shoes. If you have the ability to produce your own rats, I encourage it. I wish I could go full scale. I wish I had the space and the ability to do that, because it costs an absolute fraction. So just to give everybody an idea, and by the way, MJ, if I'm talking too much, just cut me off. I'm sorry.
I got something to capitalize on, but I'm gonna let you continue. I mean, this is a great topic, and I want to keep touching on this. So let's go ahead and keep going.
Yeah, so like, I have 117 animals in my personal collection, plus my first clutch of 7 babies, and I've got 3 clutches due. So by the time we get to the peak of my season, I'm probably going to be upwards around 150 to 180 snakes in total. And just on my breeders, just on my collection of 117, I was spent on a good month where everything is eating. I was spending close to $800 a month on rats. On a bad month, it would be more like $500 to $600. So that costs a lot of money. And you know, there's the benefit of producing your own is not just the fact that you don't have to rely on somebody else and you have consistency available to you, but you also cut that cost down because, you know, guys that are producing enough to sustain collections like that, you know, you're talking about $100, $200 worth of food and bedding, if that. It's a fraction of the cost, and it just allows you to reinvest more into your business. So these are things that if you have that ability, and it's something that you can add into your the way you run your business, then definitely look into it. All I'm saying is for anybody coming into it, please spend as much time looking into rodents. You never know. Even your guy who is so consistent and so great, he may have issues unexpectedly. You never know. And that sucks, like what happened to me in the middle of breeding season after I've had 30 plus locks and I've got a bunch of females growing follicles and all of a sudden I have no more rats. It really sucks. So don't let that be you as well.
Now, I mean, I do want to say this, and I don't think you're going to have a problem with this, JP, because I know you're super OCD, like you're clean. I know if you have a rat clean day, you're never going to miss that day. And I want to say anyone out there who was like, hey, I want to breed rats. Breeding rats is a fucking whole nother game. It takes a lot of work, and it should take a lot of work because you should be cleaning. Rats should not be overlooked when it comes to cleaning day, water day, fucking spillage day. I'll tell you what, man, and this is coming from somebody who bred rats for his private collection. At that time, I only had 100 snakes, but I bred rats for 2 years. And I'm telling you right now, that was the most work I've ever done for any kind of animal was for a rat. But I enjoyed it. It learned, like, honestly, it taught me the grunt work. I enjoyed it. But with all due respect, when I fucking picked up a local reptile frozen thawed, shout out to Supreme Rodents, but I got their sponsorship where they drop me off live rodents weekly, like it's nothing. And then I have Cold Blooded Cafe. But I will tell you though, bro, the reason why I started breeding rats, because I had an issue just like you. I didn't know where to get my fucking consistent animal flow from. I remember I had one guy I would pick up rats from, and then he would disappear. And then I'd be like, what the fuck do I do? And I'm like, in the beginning, JP, I thought you had to feed your animal once a week or they're going to die. Like back then, I just didn't know better. So I fucking did anything I can to make sure my animals had food, but it got stressful. And, you know, I'm blessed for Cold Blooded Cafe and Supreme Rodents here in San Diego. But dude, I that was my first priority, is figuring that out. Like I need to figure out how I could lock in the food, because you don't want to go through that, man. Everybody wants reptiles, right? And they're cool to raise up, but then they start eating more. Like they start eating. And that's when you have to be prepared. And I'm glad you brought that up during sound check, because that's a huge thing. People need to be ready for that.
You know, like when you, like I said, when you're buying your first group of snakes and you've only got, 12 or 20 or 30, even 30, like these are things you don't really think about because it's fairly easy to come by small orders of rats. But if you're like me and you're in an area where you have very few suppliers, most of these suppliers already have a client base and they've already are stretched to supply these client bases. So for another guy to come in and say, I need rats, sometimes these suppliers need to make adjustments. They need to grow their colonies. They need to up the production, which takes time. And then, just anything can happen. And it just really sucks, especially, like I said, in the middle of breeding, in the middle of the summer. If you go 2-3 weeks and you're a low supply of rats, not a big deal. But when you start approaching that follicle building season, you really want to get those rats and you want to get those calories going, and running out would really suck. And that's exactly what happened to us in the middle of the winter. So luckily, I was still able to selectively feed the animals that I knew for sure were going. But I had to taper off on some of the animals that I wasn't too sure, which they could have gone. I don't know. But because of the insane shortage that I came through, I had to make adjustments and I had to be selective with who was getting what to ensure that the snakes that are producing eggs are going to remain healthy and make sure that they don't miss a beat. So it was very challenging over the winter, and it's something that I really hope we don't go through again. And we're making strides. And like you said, mad respects to anybody in the chat right now that produces rats. I know how bad rats are. They're super, super stinky. They make a mess. Their tubs need to be changed every 2 days. I mean, I just something I could never do. We're actually doing something a little bit different. We're going to be buying rats still, but we're starting an ASF breeding operation on a small scale. Because if anybody in the chat doesn't know, ASFs are like virtually odorless. They don't produce odors. You could have they really are.
No, They do. No, they do produce. It's
They
a
don't,
light.
dude. I'm telling you, I have a rack of 80 ASFs right now, and I keep them clean every 3-4 days, and it smells like pine shavings in there. But I have 5 rats in my garage, and my whole garage stinks. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I would clean my ASFs once a week, and it's really light. I mean, if you're comparing it to a rat, yeah, I don't smell like anything. Period. Like it's
You need, like, I would say, based on my experience, my little experience so far, I'm definitely not seasoned on it, but based on my little experience so far, it takes about 12 to 15 ASFs to smell 1 rat. And you really have to neglect those ASFs for like a week to even smell them.
right. Yeah, it does. Like I will tell you what. I mean, there'd be times where, and like I said, be on top of your shit. But like the ASFs, I wouldn't. They would be so clean sometimes where I'm like, dude, all you need is a water change. Like I'm like, you know what I mean? Like they are a lot easier for sure. Especially the upkeep on them. How are yours? Are yours mean? Or are they fucking pretty tolerable?
They're pretty mean. They're pretty aggressive, but there's a bunch of benefits. I mean, we could get into it. I don't know how much time you have, but I can give a quick synopsis. At the end of the day, it's pretty known across the reptile industry that the ASFs are much more positive for the ball pythons and rats. They do have more protein content. The argument is that snakes on ASFs eat less to produce more often, which I've seen it because there are a couple of females that I bought who are ASF only eaters. I bought them that way. And I do have some picky animals that I've moved to ASFs over the years, the last 3 years. And they've definitely outperformed some of the rat eaters. There's no question. So right now the plan is to if I can get the amount of rats I need to buy to a lower scale and keep all my good stuff that has no problems eating on the rats, but produce my own ASFs for at least my picky eaters. So that way everybody has consistent supply all year round and I don't face the same issue that I faced this winter, then I'm really hoping that it's going to be much more positive going into next year. So we're going to be focusing on ASFs right now. Who knows? I might eventually change my personal collection. I am curious. Like I'll give you guys an example. My leopard clown pied, which you guys have probably seen on my reels, just laid a clutch. And funny enough, so I'll tell you the backstory with her. I was very scared. I thought she was going to slug out. I thought she was going to look really bad after dropping her eggs because she didn't eat for over a year. And I initially bred her just to see if I could get her in that mindset of eating. I wasn't expecting anything from her. And so I bred her a couple of times. She didn't eat for about 60 days after the first couple of locks. And then she randomly decided to eat 4 ASFs over 4 weeks, small ones. And then she stopped eating again. Never again.
Whoa.
And I wasn't expecting nothing from her because she was a very thin snake. She didn't have the body fat reserves that some of my bigger girls have. I wasn't expecting anything. And guess what? Long and behold, she not only produced follicles, she laid 6 big, healthy eggs full of veins. And she doesn't look any bad at all after laying. And you're talking about a snake that only ate 4 ASFs in like a year and 3 months.
Wow.
Produced a clutch like that. Could you get the same result from a snake that only ate 4 rats? In my collection, I haven't seen it. I need to get about 12, 15 plus rats into my females to really get, their body fat up. So it's a very small sample size for me. There are guys in like, for example, Gavin Balls to You in the UK. He feeds exclusively ASFs and he swears that, he has better success. He has more production. So who knows? It might be something that we do in the future. But for anybody who's watching that wants to purchase a snake, fear not. If you're one of those guys who thinks that you can never feed an ASF snake a rat, don't worry. All of my hatchlings, if I ever decided to do that, all of my hatchlings, I will always buy rats for. I will never switch any snake on an ASF if I switch them till around 800 or 900 grams until I'm 100% confident that they're staying in my personal collection. Everything else would stay on rats.
Yeah, and this is where I stand with ASFs. Other than them being illegal in California, and that was probably the smartest thing why I should get rid of them. I just felt like, me personally, I was like, dude, my snakes love rats just as much as ASFs from what I can see. But I do know that ASFs are something that ball pythons could get stuck on, and that's all they want. So to me, that's scary because, yeah, I'm illegally keeping, not anymore, fucking haters, whoever's trying to rat on me, but I was illegally keeping ASFs at that time. So, what am I going to do once that ends and I have all these snakes stuck on ASFs? I'm fucked. So I do think starting them off on rats or anything other than ASFs and then switching them to ASFs is super smart for sure.
Yeah. Well, so actually, I don't know how much you've heard, but there's a little mini movement. I've talked to so many reptile breeders, and a lot of guys have the same mentality that I've talked to. They're like, we're never going to really put our hatchlings on ASFs from the start, because even if you think it's a holdback, you never know when, you know, halfway through the season you hatch something better and you decide to resell something. You don't want to start out your snakes on ASFs. But there are a few guys that I know that put all of their adult snakes on ASFs secretly. And again, they're also telling me that those snakes are just producing like so much better results than snakes on rats. And it makes sense. I mean, an ASF content, they're leaner, they have more body weight. People think that you need to feed ball pythons these large meals. Guys are like, some of the guys will say, you know, in order to get a female to sustain a clutch, you need to get her like 2 or 3 ASFs a week. That's factually incorrect. You know, right. ASFs have so much more lean protein on their body mass that the ball pythons, like my ASF only eating snakes, they don't pass stools after eating an ASF for like 2 weeks. Whereas my rat ones are like, you know, within 5 to 7 days, they're already pooping out stuff. So they are absorbing more of the rodent, and they are doing, they are getting more protein mass from it. The question is, like you said, there are a bunch of guys out there who can't get access to them, or can't breed them, or they're not allowed. And I think it's personal decisions that people should make. I know a lot of guys that are producing ASFs and feeding their personal collections ASFs, but still buying rats for the babies. It might be something we look at in the future. Right now, the goal is just to get my picky eaters with consistent food. Those are my adults, and we're going to be producing ASFs for those.
That's cool. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you need to find out what works and what's best for your collection. I do feel like there are things that people are super passionate about that work for them, but it doesn't necessarily mean everyone else needs to do it.
Correct.
And that's just coming from experience, you know, because I would tell you right now, you when you're new in this and you hear so many people say, well, no, this is how you're supposed to do it, or this and that, it could kind of mind fuck you, because you want to take advice, right? But then who do you listen to? And I want to talk about that a little bit, JP. Like in your up and coming, right? You would get advice from Billy, but then you would also get advice from other keepers as well. So was there a point in your career or even recently where you found yourself not knowing what advice to take and you just had to trust yourself or anything like that?
I think my general strategy when it comes to getting advice is I'll never listen to one person, because one person's experience or results may not necessarily work for you, and it may not be the best advice either. So what I look for is trends. Anybody who knows me that I talk to on a daily through DMs and all that stuff, everybody knows I ask the same questions round table, you know, and I go through a dozen people with the same questions. And usually what I find is if you've got multiple people that are kind of saying the same thing, or they're in the same ballpark, then usually that means there's some truth to that advice. Whereas if you've got one guy who's completely different than the generals, it makes you question it more.
You there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Where did you lose me?
I'm listening. No, go.
Yeah, so no, I was just saying I look for trends. You know, whenever I have a question, I ask multiple different people, and then whoever has, I try to get bits and pieces from everybody. And if everybody's kind of like on that same playing field in the same ballpark, then it usually tells me that there's pretty good weight to what they're saying. Right. But if I get advice from one guy and he's the only guy who said it and everybody else disagrees, I usually, you know, won't take that advice. So what I tell people is don't take my advice. You know, if I'm the only person you've asked a question to, you know, ask the question to a bunch of different people too. Get different opinions and kind of come up with your own, you know, idea of what you think might work for you. And it's also trial and error. You have to try things. You know what I mean? Like, it's just trial and error. Things work differently for everybody. That doesn't necessarily mean that one guy does something this way that's going to work for you.
And just to, on the other end of that spectrum, just to kind of touch on that, for me, I pick one person to trust, and that's somebody I built a relationship with. Like, you know, for instance, I did in the beginning was like, you know, I talked to multiple people. One guy told me, yeah, your snake will always eat throughout its whole fucking, you know, when it's gravid, ovulation, all that. And I believed it. And I was like, wow, you know, totally fucking got thrown into the ringer for that, you know, and that wasn't the only time. And then when I met Miguel and I knew Miguel was out for my good interest, I literally was like, look, I don't feel like I'm safe anywhere else. I'm going to trust what this guy has to say. and I'm going to stick to it. But and also, like what you said, what he was doing was working for me. So that's why I didn't want to look anywhere else.
100%.
Everything that Miguel was telling me to do was fucking working. So on the other end of things, if you already are working with somebody who you trust and well experienced, then fucking take their advice and run with it, if it works for you. But I can tell you right now, when you are doing something that already works for you and you're trying to experiment or maybe find other ways, I mean, I don't know why you would want to fucking fix something that's not broken. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like too many people look for other ways to do shit when it's not that complex. It's a lot more easier than people think it is. You know what I mean?
It's kind of like with this like ASF topic, because I'm reading this chat and everybody's talking about this ASF thing. It's such a good topic. It's something that people are so afraid to talk about it. And it's one of those things. I had a 4-hour conversation with Gavin Balls to You in the UK and on the phone.
Shout out to Gavin. That's a homie. Shout out to Gavin.
Yeah, that guy's great. And he's been doing exclusively ASFs in his collection for the last 4 years. Yeah. And one thing he told me was like, JP, like, don't take my word for it. At the end of the day, results speak for itself. And, for example, like he told me ever since he switched his collection to ASFs back in the day, I think anybody you talk to in the reptile industry that's been breeding a long time, most people say that if a good season is like 70% of your females going. That's usually what I've heard amongst a lot of breeders. And Gavin was saying, I get 95 to almost 100%. I might have only 2 or 5 females out of 70 that don't go for me, and that's attributed to the different food. So he was like, why is it acceptable for us breeders to run at a lower level when we could increase it? So that's just an example. And it's one of those things that it has me curious. And I'm really excited to kind of see, especially with my picky females, getting them over to ASFs permanently and just seeing if that means that they stop eating less frequently. Do they produce more and all that stuff? It's going to be really great to kind of compare the two against all of my rat eaters and see which one outperforms. So what I'm trying to say basically is at the end of the day, don't be afraid to try different things. If you're doing something in your collection and it's not working, don't be afraid to try something new. If it's working, do you want to change it? Maybe not. You don't want to upset the formula. But if something's not working or you feel like you could be working better or more efficiently, then don't be afraid to try something new and to see if you can push that envelope.
Yeah. And I love it because we're going back and forth, but we're opposite scenarios, right? So if you're finding yourself in a rut or you're not where you want to be, then exactly, don't be scared to try different things. You know what I mean? It's just like, the crazy thing about this game, JP, and you'll know this, it's like everyone's scenario is so different. Like everyone has a different situation. Everyone has a different game plan. Even people who chases other people's game plan, their game plan is still different in a way. You know what I mean? Because they could be living in a different area. So, that's why another reason you got to be careful with who you get advice from, because it depends where they're at, what they got in their collection and stuff like that. But I tell you what, man, I've been following Gavin for a minute since the beginning, 4 years now. And he's also somebody I've listened. I took like his first piece of advice was the incubator, setting the thermostat in there at 90 and just leaving it. And I've always had success with that. Never fucking switched that at all.
Yep.
And I see that everything that he brings to the fucking table is stuff to make us better at breeding ball pythons. And it's facts. That's why I'm like, man, at the end of the day, you could breed all ASFs, you could breed all rats. I'm sure snakes will eat either one, but really, who's really doing the research? Who's really doing the one? Who's comparing and who's really had the experience, raising on rats and raising on ASFs? I mean, I kind of have, but I haven't bred, like that. I've raised snakes off ASF and rats, but I haven't bred animal. Like I haven't had adults raised off ASF, so I really wouldn't know. So, with you saying this and Gavin bringing it to the table, it's like, this is the kind of shit this hobby needs. You know what I mean? It's important because people like the more techniques that you could add to your mix, the better. Why not have more tools in the bag? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Don't be afraid to try different things. And that's what we're going to do. And it's mainly too, because like I said, we're not set up. We don't live in an appropriate area to breed rats. They're too smelly. So I would rather still buy rats from a reliable supplier. But like I said, if I can take half my collection to ASFs that are my picky females and the other half keep them on rats, that just means less rats I have to buy every week. And then I get to compare. I'm going to have both in the collection. I'm going to be able to see which group does better. Is it really true? Am I going to get more production? Are my females going to perform better? Are they going to look better from the ASFs to the rat ones? And I'm actually going to be able to see these results firsthand. And, you know, it really piqued my interest. And that's another reason why we're doing the ASF thing too, is just because, like I said, they don't really smell. They're nowhere near as smelly as rats. And if, like, the reason why I bring this up is because a lot of people that I've talked to do wish they could produce their own rodents, or at least some rodents, to just kind of alleviate how much they need to buy and how much they need to rely on other people. Mm-hmm. So I always say, okay, you know, breeding rats in your garage, probably not going to be feasible, especially if you have neighbors or you live in a subdivision. You need proper ventilation. You need a proper facility for that. And even if you have, like I've been to facilities, like proper facilities, where half a kilometer radius around the building by the street smells like rats. That's how smelly they are. Yeah. So you need a space for that. But if you're in a smaller area or you live in a subdivision and you just want to produce some stuff and maybe do what I'm doing and just kind of get your picky animals on this and just kind of reduce the bill that you need to buy every month, you can realistically breed, you know, 200-300 breeder female ASFs in a garage and not really have to worry about the smell too much, especially if you're diligent like I am and you keep them clean. They really are almost virtually odorless, and you know, they don't eat as much as the rats, and they do come with some drawbacks, but you know, don't be afraid to do it if you live somewhere where you can't necessarily breed rats, if it means alleviating that bill and relying on other people. I definitely encourage it.
Now, let me ask you this. What's your game plan with your diet? What's going to be your game plan with the diet for your ASFs and whatnot? Because I feel like that's really important too.
Yeah. So, you know, what's funny? This is one of those things where, just going back to what we were talking about, getting different opinions, and everybody has different opinions. I think at the end of the day, it's known that ASFs require a diet that's a little bit higher in protein than rats do. Now, I'm not an expert, and I'm not really qualified to give people an exact answer on what the best thing is, but I can tell you what I'm doing, and it seems to be working so far. So we're feeding a premium rodent chow to the ASFs. They don't like it as much as the dog food, and I'll get to that. But the rodent chow that we're using is 23% protein and 4.5% fat, which is a low fat content. They're getting supplemented with a high quality, low fat dog food. I think a lot of the dog foods and cat foods out there are like higher than 20% fat. I think it's just too much fat for the ASFs. The dog food that I'm using is 9%, and the protein content is 28%. And I'm also giving them bird seeds once a week. They love wild bird seeds. Like, they go absolutely bananas for it. Okay. And if you really want to spoil your ASFs and make them, like, you know, absolutely go freaking bananas in the tubs, Honey Nut Cheerios makes them go crazy. They love it. So once a week, a little treat of Honey Nut Cheerios.
Wow.
And once in a while, I throw some green beans and carrots in there too. And I'm just trying to keep their diet as varied as possible for a good quality, healthy ASF.
Now, why don't you, I mean, with all due respect, why don't you just feed them Missouri rat food? Missouri's fucking, that's number one.
We can't get Missouri up here in Canada. It's not available. Yeah.
Oh my God. How do you do it?
I know. Unfortunately, Missouri really is really good. The closest thing that we have to Missouri is called Purina. It's a brand of dog food, but they also make rodent food. But they don't put like the yucca stuff that Missouri does to reduce, you know, the smell of rodent feces. I don't know how truthful it is, but I read right on the Missouri bags, it says that they put yucca extract in their food to make the rodent smell less. I don't know if it actually works or not. But so we don't have food like that. They've also discontinued the lactation and milk production food, whereas Missouri has a blend of food that improves lactation in the rats, which leads to better litters. So we don't have that. So unfortunately, we don't have the same food. But the good thing about ASFs is they don't really need a diet specifically of like rodent blocks. You can give them a really high grade, high quality chicken-based, you know, dog food that's low in fat. And you can give them bird seeds. You can give them different things. They don't need to have just the blocks.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's where we're going with that. We're going to see how it goes. Like I said, we're still going to be buying rats for the hatchlings and for all the snakes that do well on rats. And then we're going to be switching. Well, not that we're going to be switching, because my bad eaters don't eat anyways. So, but I do know they eat ASFs. So we're going to get them on ASFs permanently. And then I'm going to have a good sample. I'm going to have a sample to compare against two different groups in my collections and see which ones outperform the other. And I'm excited to see the results over time.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the snakes this year that were able to go for you, okay? Because obviously food shortage is what kept you from getting females to the weight they needed to be where you felt comfortable pairing, right? So that's why that was that. But the ones that did go, like, were they already high on weight? Were they already were they a little bit further ahead than the other girls? Like, what's up with the ones that went for you this year?
Yeah, so all my females that are going to produce this year were like my best eaters. They would pound rats like no tomorrow, and they're big girls. I mean, some of them are like, my biggest girl is 5,000 grams, and you know, she's going to lay a big clutch, hopefully, fingers crossed. But they already had the body size on them and the fat reserves that even if I ran out of food for them, it wouldn't have mattered too much. And like I said, I was still able to get partial orders or half orders or 3/4 orders throughout the winter. But I just had to selectively decide who was going to eat. If I had females that were in, the 20, 30 millimeter follicle range or in the 15 and they hadn't gone off food yet, they were always prioritized over everything else. And, none of my snakes went more than, 2 or 3 weeks without food. I just had to alternate every week who got what, because I wasn't able to get enough to feed everybody every single week. So we're still going to end up with, like, I would say 12 clutches. I think we could have gotten close to 20 clutches had I have not had food shortage issues over the winter. But like I said, we're doing all the right steps to correct that going into next year. And I'm still excited, man. Like, the clutches that are going to go this year, some of them are heavy hitters. I can't wait to see the results.
Yeah, that's exciting. Because I man, what a funky season for me this year too. But it always seems like things are going later for me. But let me kind of explain here. So, I had, by this time last year, I had like at least 4 clutches in the incubator. I'm not a big scale breeder. I'm looking, my hopes was like you. I was hoping to hit 20 this year. I was looking for 2, but now it's looking barely like 10. But anyways, this time last year I had about 4 clutches, but those 4 clutches, those females have either just shut off food or they ovulated, so they're like a month or 2 months behind, which is crazy. But it just always seems like things are going later. So I don't really know what the other ones are going to look like. I mean, I have a couple more that shut off food and stuff like that. But at what point for you, JP, are you looking at a snake and saying, and this is after you've been pairing it, right? But at what point are you looking at a snake and looking at it and saying, oh, I don't think this is going to work this year? So
what I do is because I don't have a lot of males to work with. I do have, 12 males that I held back that are awesome. So next year I'm going to be great on males. But this year I had a lot of females to lock up, not necessarily produce because I didn't know if they were going to go, but I had a lot of females to at least lock once or twice and few males to do it with. Right. So I don't want to exhaust the males. I don't want to cause any stress to the males. So what I do is basically I go through my entire round. I get everybody a lock on once, and then I mark down their follicle size, even if it's what they call a residual follicle, which is just a leftover. It doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean that they haven't produced. I'll mark any size. I'll put it down on a piece of paper right on the tub, and I mark it. And then 30 days.
JP, I'm going to stop you real quick. Can I stop you real quick?
Yeah.
This won't take long. Guys, with all due respect, please, out of respect to the guests, let's get the likes up. We if you want to keep this going at the hour mark, let's get those likes up for my man JP. It really means means a lot. If not, we'll take this to Patreon page, no big deal. But let's get the likes up and let's keep this shit going. Go ahead.
Yeah, so after I get the first lock on them, I wait 30 days and I just ultrasound everybody again to see if there's any. I'll still put a second lock on most of my females, but after a second lock and 2 months of time, if there's no movement at all in the follicles, I'm not going to go ahead and keep breeding. I'm going to wait an extra 30 days. I'm going to put them to the side. I wait 30 days. I check them again in 30 days. If there's still no movement, I'll make a decision. If it's a female that I really, really, really want to go, I might throw in a third lock and just see if that'll stimulate her then. Otherwise, I might just wait another 30 days and I just take my time. It also depends on how many times my males have been locked. Like I said, I had very few males to work with this year. I didn't want to exhaust them. So I take my time, and it just depends on who is in rotation, who has had enough rest. And but to answer your question, like I had one female, for example, she had been locked 3 times. I put a 4th lock on her because it was one male that didn't do anything else with anybody else. And it was over the course of like 4 months, and she didn't do nothing. She didn't grow. At that point, I just pulled her off the shelf. I put her back in the future rack. And I just said, it's not going to happen. I might check her again in 2-3 months. I think it's important. Like I had this conversation with Justin about how he does his collection. And he says that, repeat females is not so much of a problem because usually, I guess, repeat females reproduce every year if they go every year in and around the same time that they did the year before, plus or minus 30 days. So you have a pretty good idea on when their quote unquote cycle is. But new girls is different. New girls, you have to figure out when their cycle is. It's not going to be the same for everybody.
Right.
So on the new girls, he does keep locks. They're spaced out a little bit more, but he does keep locks throughout the year to see when that cycle kicks in. And I kind of do the same thing. I'm always going to ultrasound. I'm always going to keep an eye out on the girls that are new time females that are at the weight they need to be. And I'll keep an eye on them all year, and I'll slap a lock every couple of months, or maybe only if I know that the male I'm using is the male I want for that girl. Otherwise, I might stop because you don't want to retain sperm and then all of a sudden get a new male next year, and all of a sudden you're screwed, right? So it's a case by case basis. There's no like concrete answer for me. It's just generalized. I have a general strategy. I don't even know if my strategy is the best. This is only my 3rd year of breeding. I'm still figuring a lot of things out, and I've had great success so far, but it's still a learning process, and so far so good. So that would be like my long. I don't know if I directly answered the question or not. If I didn't,
you did. You
ask me again.
Yeah, no. You ask.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
JP, you are fucking fine, bro. I honestly, I genuinely think you're like one of the most fucking rarest guys I've ever met. Just because like you're honest, you're brutally honest, but to yourself too. And I don't know. Yes, that was a good answer. Thank you so much. That's all I gotta say.
All right.
Okay, but what the fuck was I gonna say now after that? Sorry, that just made me laugh. Okay. So listen, JP, with that being said, obviously it's not hard to see, you pay attention to this, but there's so many new people coming into this fucking hobby, bro. Like every day you see a new fucking account that's like, and respect, people hit me up, follow me, and I'm excited, bro. But, obviously with new people coming and new people sticking around, they're obviously experiencing certain things in this industry, right? Some of them could be like stuff to push you back or make you not want to push forward. But let's kind of talk about a little bit some of the stuff that you had to go through, you know what I mean? In the beginning, because I had to talk about this on my Patreon page not too long ago, just as far as like being the person who puts out advice, who just literally just started something, you know what I mean? And like, I know your heart was in the right place, but perception's everything, right? And people read what they read and they took what they want to take it. And you got thrown around like a rag doll for it, right?
Yeah. So, that was partially my fault. Like when I first came into the business, I got really, really, really excited about the YouTube stuff. And I met Brian Barczyk in person, and he got me so stoked about making YouTube videos. And I really wanted to make content. So my initial strategy when I first came in 2018, 3 years ago, was to kind of like regurgitate information, not necessarily be the guy that's explaining, but I was more or less regurgitating information from more experienced guys. I was just the one to say it. And people misconstrued it as me coming up with that advice when it wasn't really my advice. I was just re-saying it. And it kind of pissed some guys off early on that were, old timers or people in the business a long time. But, to be quite honest, if new people's come up to me today, I just say, you got to do what works for you. At the end of the day, I put so much emphasis in the beginning on trying to impress everybody else and not worry about myself. And I think at the end of the day, if you, the most important thing when you come into this industry is to have the passion. And if you do something and it makes you happy, yes, take criticism, learn from other people. But at the end of the day, like you say, your channel, your content, you gotta do what makes you happy. And if that makes you happy, there are channels out there. I don't know if you've heard of him, Adam Wickens.
Yeah.
He's a guy that lives in Toronto, and he started up a channel, and all he does really is he looks up topics and does the research from online, and he just makes a video and regurgitates it. And he's having immense success. He's getting 100,000 views a video. Like he's killing it.
Yeah.
Do I agree necessarily with some of the things he says? No, but I'm not the type of person to spend my day and time talking crap and worrying about other people. If somebody wants to do something, that's them. If it doesn't impact me and my business, then I don't let it bother me. And I just think, people should have that mindset. Don't let other people, bother you or upset you or change what your opinions are. Just do what's for you. Breed for yourself, breed for your collection, and do things that make you happy and keep your passion, because ball pythons, there is a lot of work. For me, like juggling snakes, rats now, and a baby, it's a lot of work, and you need to maintain the passion in between so it doesn't feel like work. And if you do something and it makes you happy, then just do it.
Yeah.
But maybe don't make educational content videos like I did 2 months into it. Probably not a good idea.
Oh man. But listen, at the end of the day, like you recovered fucking like a G off of it. And that's what I respect. I just feel like not too many people would be so lucky, because it was too much. Obviously, we all know that, but it was kind of like so intense. And, a lot of people don't expect that just off an opinion or just based off what they're saying. And if anyone out there is offended off someone's opinion, you got to remind yourself, like, no one's opinion pays your bills. Like,
Correct.
That's not that's not your, like, why is that your focus? Like, unless you're balling, you're a millionaire, your feet's up, you got Ferraris in the driveway and you're just bored with life and all you got to do is to go pick on people, then I mean, that's even lame. I would be doing shit if I was rich, doing stuff. But I mean,
what I think too is, I had the same issue, and I'm using Adam as an example just because, like I said, I don't necessarily agree with some of his videos. I don't like some of the things he says, but again, I don't let it bother me. I don't think about it throughout the day. But one thing I appreciate what he's done, and he has focused more on creating his own community of followers versus trying to win over somebody else's community. Okay.
It's crazy. I noticed that too, bro. Good. That's such a good call out. Cause I obviously looked, you want to know the one I looked into? The one that was, I noticed him, but then there was one that was like, I didn't agree with it. And I was like, bro, what does this guy mean by that? You don't want to know which one I was talking about?
Which one?
When he said how ball python's not a good first pet.
Yes, I hated that video. Oh my God.
Like, what? I was like, this motherfucker. But to be honest, bro, like that's his opinion. B, it's his channel. And C, it still grabbed my attention. And I watched the whole fucking thing. And dude, he had his points. I wish I could have jumped in and be like, all right, hold up. Let me tell you my story when I was 6 years old. Because my first reptile was a ball python. You kidding me? That was the best first fucking pet I could ever ask for, in my opinion, But at the end of the day, bro, I was even being nosy and seeing, who are all these people in the live watching his shit and or in the comments, and it was nobody I even knew. Like, it was just all his own community. Like, and I was like, dude, respect. Like, I give this shit mad respect. So,
and that's why, like, when it comes to starting your own reptile business, like in the ball pythons, like my primary focus in the beginning was just bring more people in, bring my own community, bring my own customers, and build my own.
Yeah,
exactly. You don't necessarily, to be successful, you don't need to rely on someone else's customers. Usually, a lot of guys, you can make your own. You can make your own community. So I think just because you upset one guy, he's probably not even going to be a customer of yours anyway. So why do you give that person any attention? Work and focus on creating your own customer base, your own business, your own brand. And just like we used to say in the car business, there's an ass for every seat, right? It could be the crappiest used car, $500 ship box with no engine. It couldn't matter. At the end of the day, we always told sales guys there's an ass for every seat. So I said, if you produce a quality animal, just because your peers, customers don't want to buy from you, doesn't mean you're not going to sell the animal. You could find your own customer base.
Shit. And I'm so glad you said that, bro, because I mean, like, bro, living proof. I'm telling you right now, there were so many people, like, not only did I come up with in this game with, but like also like, like started with like buying snakes from. And at some point, like, I never ended up selling one of my productions. I ended up selling something to somebody else who's been following me. Like, and that's okay with me, bro. Like, I'm good with it. Like, I've been getting nothing but sales from people who just been following me, and they either started because of me, which is awesome, or they just been watching my work and they've been waiting. But the beauty is fucking time, like, everything comes with time, dude. And you and I both fucking have put in our time, and we're both having the time of our lives doing it. Like, even though you didn't hit your 20, even though I didn't hit my 20, dude, my grin is fucking ear to fucking ear, bro. I'm loving what I'm raising. I see your post. your posts they're still just as good as they ever were when you were having the best year of your life. So at the end of the day, what we're both doing is working, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, and a huge shout out to all the customers who've trusted me, honestly, especially my American customers. They have to wait a little bit longer to get their snakes, and everybody trusts me to not only provide them with a good, healthy snake, but get it there safely. So I wouldn't be here today where I am without all these customers, and I just
respect.
There's nothing I could say to really convey how appreciative and supportive I feel from all these people that have trusted me. And I just can't wait to do more business with people. And I look forward to this year and this season. And, I really do believe again, this is me, but I feel like I have the best customers in the world so far. I mean, everybody's so supportive.
Dude, what a good attitude, bro. Honestly, fuck JP. You nailed it. You should say that. You know what I mean? I think that I can tell you right now, all my customers last year, fucking love them. They all came from the year before. It's crazy. And I make sure they're taken care of, because I'll tell you what won me over when I first started was somebody I bought a snake from who took care of me. Like somebody who always said,
Jeremy Smith?
No, I don't know who Jerry. I don't know who Jeremy is. No, I got taken care of by Chris Surstry and Miguel Garcia. Those two motherfuckers bred me from the first 2 years on, and those are the only two I ever took advice from. And then Gavin too, from Gavin's YouTube videos. But either way, bro, like they put the platform on for me to learn from, and I just fucking went from there. Kind of the same thing that happened with you when you. Oh, what just happened? He just dipped out. That's not me. That's him. But anyways, kind of like what happened when JP fucking first went to Mutations, But I feel like with JP, his situation was just a little bit different. He had that fucking one-on-one mentorship, where everything that I had was via phone. What the hell happened, JP?
I hit the refresh button by accident on my browser. Oh. Sorry, man.
No, you're good. No, but dude, honestly, man, that right there gave me chills what you said, because you should be that passionate about your customers. Your customers, you should love your customers, man. And
I do. Bro. I mean, every single one of my customers has my personal cell phone. They message me. I've got one guy in California. He's messaged me at it was 4 o'clock in the morning here because they're 3 hours behind. And I'm telling you, I know some bigger breeders that, are too big for their own good. If I'm awake at 4 in the morning to go to the washroom and I see a missed message, I'm going to answer it before I go back to sleep. And I answer them immediately. And I give everybody the time of day. I was bred that way from the car business. I would worry about people getting floor mats at 5:30 in the morning before I was even ready to wake up yet. Like, if I see a message and I'm awake for whatever reason, I'm not going to be like, oh, it's nighttime, I'm going to put my phone away. I'm going to answer that person right away, and I'm going to take care of business right away. There were times where my partner would literally yell at me because it's like 3 a.m. I don't know why it is, but all the California boys that buy from me, they, for some reason, do all their shopping at 12 at night there, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning here. So I get all my Morph Market inquiries at 3 in the morning. I see them when I'm going to the washroom. One guy says, hey, JP, I want this snake. Okay, I'll literally put on some pants, come downstairs, fire up my laptop. It's 3 in the morning, get the invoice prepared, send it out, answer all their questions. It's 4 o'clock, I go back to bed. That's the type of person I am. It doesn't matter where I am, who I'm with. If somebody sends me a message or an inquiry, I'm there. That's bar none. And that's just how I am.
Respect. I love it, bro. And that just comes with passion. What he's doing, you can't really teach somebody if they don't have it. You know what I mean? You gotta, and that's crazy. I have the mentality that you have too, because I was bred off sales. I did sales my whole life, sales was my thing, but that's because attending to your customer is something you always want to do, because they always come back to you. You always want every customer to end up coming back to you all the time. And that's what it was always about. It wasn't about that initial sell. It was about the sell when they come back in 2 years or a year or whatever the fuck. That's kind of was my mentality. So having, dude, no offense, but the mentality of old school keepers is fucking shit. I'm being 100% honest, because, and this isn't every old school keeper, but I'm talking about what the old mentality was at one point, where fucking less was more with information. Oh, you already gave me your money, go fuck yourself type of thing. And some of that's still floating around right now. But I could tell you right now, because of customer service like JP, Always Evolving Pythons, their list goes on. The list goes on. Those people will eventually either get exposed or they just won't last. And I don't give a fuck how long you've been doing this for. Okay. And anyone who's listening to this could take it personal. I don't care, because there is some fucking terrible customer service out there. So the ones that stand out are the people like JP. So I got to tell you, JP, you keep that shit up, because that customer service will take you super far, 100%.
I really appreciate that. I mean, we're putting in work here and taking care of all the animals, and I have my new facility with all the new equipment, and you know, I've mortgaged my entire future on the success of my business. So you're damn straight. I'm going to work as hard as I can and be as good as I can for my customers, because without them, I don't have a business, and I don't have income, and I can't support what I'm doing. So I will never lose sight of the fact that the only reason why I'm able to put food on my table today and do what I'm doing is because of the people that trust me and buy snakes from me. So thank you to those people, and I will never forget that.
100%. I remember I was trying to buy a snake off you, or get a snake from you like 2 years ago, and you blamed it on the weather. Whatever. It was pretty cold. But JP, I would love to have some of your work. So we still need to talk about this. I would love to have one of your clowns or some shit at some point in the trap, because I want to be one of those California. I'm going to hit you up at like 4 a.m. when I wake up. I'm not up at midnight.
And I will answer you, believe me.
I'm not up at midnight, dude. So I'm up at like 7 a.m. your time. So that you're already getting your tea, your coffee ready to rock, I'm sure, at that time, right? What time you get your day started, JP? Like,
well, right now we have a really messed up schedule. So I'm basically awake till around 3 or 4 in the morning right now anyways, because I'm taking care of baby and doing something called a dream feed at night, where it's basically you feed the baby without waking them, just so they don't wake up and become fussy. So that my partner can get sleep, because she's up all day. I usually do more of the night shift so that she can sleep, and then she's refreshed by morning.
Smart. Damn, you got to just get strategic with it sometimes.
It's a lot, man. I'm taking care of 120 animals, and believe me, I can take you down at any time of the day into my facility and open any tub. You'll never find a crap. You'll never find a pee anywhere. Like, I am so diligent with my animals. I try to keep it as clean as possible. And that's why I've been slacking on YouTube, because it's such an investment of time to film a video and edit it. And it would just take away right now with how much I've got going on with the baby and all my animals and stuff. And I would never want to sacrifice the quality of my animals and the rats and all that stuff. I think any live animal in my care needs to get the best care. Everything else is secondary. So, like I said, if there's anybody in the Southern Ontario that would like to join the family and help me with the video production, please reach out to me. I would love to partner up with somebody. Please.
JP, let's kind of talk about, I want to talk about the sort of mentorship you were able to keep throughout this whole time. Like, who are some people you maybe still talk to? And then also I want to know what you're doing now with any mentorship, or are you just mostly just figuring shit out on your own now? Like, that's kind of what I want to talk about.
I'm not gonna lie. I spam Justin's phone every now and then until he answers. But
as you should.
Yeah, so he's been really helpful. Gavin, balls to you, has been really helpful as well in the UK. And I got to give a huge shout out to, I don't want to make a mistake. Let me just search him up really quick. This guy has like spent hours with me helping me get my ASF operation going. BRH Reptiles.
BRH.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it on camera here. Brian Hamstra. Okay, he's a Texas guy. He's down in Texas, Dallas. And
hold on. Let me hold on. BRH.
Yeah, this guy on Instagram. I mean, he does ASFs as well. And
and I just followed you back. That's shout out to BRH. But let me put this dude's Instagram on here real quick. That way people can see.
Not only does he acquire amazing snakes, and he's got an absolutely awesome collection, but this dude has literally spent the last like 3 weeks every night, hours with me back and forth on voice DMs about, getting my ASF stuff going. And so, I want to say that basically what I'm trying to get at is my mentorship is not just focused on one person anymore. Now I really enjoy talking to multiple different people and getting different takes and a lot. Yeah, this guy is just awesome. I mean, everybody should go follow him right now. Great guy. He takes the time and day and very knowledgeable on the rodent side. Sick. And he's really helped me get off the ground.
Sick.
But, yeah, so my mentorship, but to be quite honest, I'm not as needy as I used to be because there's a lot of little tricks and things that I've learned myself. And I'm also trying different things myself. And I'm not going to say that all of my answers are perfect, but I do enjoy the process of figuring things out. If there's a problem in my collection, or I encounter something that I think I could do better with, I do enjoy the problem solving aspect of it. So I'm not as needy as I was back in 2018, 2019. I'm pretty self-sufficient now, and I think I have a pretty decent formula. And I do get some advice here and there, and try to make anything better if I possibly can.
That's good. That's what it's all about. I mean, it's always, and I would say, sickest name in the game is fucking always evolving pythons. Because what makes more sense than always evolving? That's what you should be doing.
Always evolving. Yeah.
Yeah. You always have that mindset, baby. That's sick. That's what I'm talking
about.
Yeah,
we made some big changes, man. You didn't even ask me about, my newfound life out here in the country. I left my city.
Oh yeah. Perfect. I'm glad you just that just completely skipped my fucking mind. So you moved recently. How far out did you move from where you were?
So we moved over an hour away from where I'm from, Toronto. We're like dead in the country now, and people don't really know the sacrifices that I've made. Like I believe in this business so much, and I believe in the success of ball pythons that I made complete life changes. I quit my job at the end of 2019 to focus on my animals, because it was getting a lot. Like the traveling, I think I did 11 shows in 2019. Like my boss was wondering, dude, where are you going all the time? Like it was crazy. So I quit my job, and then a year later, it was like, now I sold my house. I'm a city boy. I'm not a country boy. I don't like the country. I want to hear fire sirens outside my front porch every morning, and I want to be able to touch my neighbor and high five him as I'm coming down my porch. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I'm that type of guy. So we left city life. We sold our houses in the city. We moved out in the country, bought a nice house out here, and literally bumfuck nowhere is what I call it. Just to have a little bit more privacy and take care of our animals. And so we made some big life changes, and it's been a huge adjustment. This new lifestyle, but again, I'm doing it for the animals. I'm doing it for my business, and it's just a total change.
Doing things for the animals. We were talking about this earlier. Me and JP talked on the phone earlier, and I don't want to, I'm not trying to like talk about one specific community at all, but there's only one that comes to mind, and it's a shame, because I feel like a lot of people who are so eager to start a logo, get stickers and swap and do all that stuff, which is fine, but before they do that with all the snakes, before all the snakes come and stuff like all that, I don't feel like their mentality is really all about the animals. I feel like majority of the shit that they're doing is for themselves, to get themselves out there. And that just bothers me a little bit. You know what I mean? Because, like you cut YouTube so you could fucking concentrate more on the animals.
Right now,
I mean?
Yeah.
Right now, of course, right now, because right now time is important to you, right? And you're not trying to spread yourself too thin. You got a daughter, you got things going on, but the things that are most important to you, other than your daughter, are what? The snakes,
the animals, yeah.
Right. So let me ask you this: how does it feel right now to be taking a break from YouTube? And what's the one thing you don't miss about always uploading shit on YouTube? And I can hear why you're talking. I'll be right back. Just go ahead and talk.
Yeah, YouTube. I do miss YouTube. There's some aspects of it that I don't miss. Like I said, the process of, the production side of it. So filming the video, like I'm one guy and I'm doing everything myself. And to load up a camera, and I don't know, I'm just very anal retentive. Like I have higher standards on what I want to be in terms of production. I don't want to make, videos that I don't feel are interesting to the community. I really want each video to be super interesting. And the process of going out, getting my camera gear, and then every time for some reason I go down there to even attempt to make a video, it's like I smell poops. So it's like, okay, I got to put the camera away. I got to find out which tubs are smelly. I got to clean them. And then Bob's your uncle, an hour has passed. And I'm like, oh crap. Well, there goes my time to make the video. So I miss the part of people getting to see behind the scenes of JP and what goes on here. I want people to see that. I want people to just see me in my element, in my facility every single week. But the production side of it, especially with my newborn daughter, has been a little bit more challenging. And to be quite honest, I don't miss the editing part. I mean, I would spend sometimes 3 days editing a video. And some guys would tell me like, dude, you put too much time into your videos. But that's just how I am. If I do something, I want to do it the best I possibly can. And if I feel like I can't give it my 100% all, I'd rather just not do it, You know what I mean? I don't want to do something half-assed. So
I'm
the
the same
YouTube,
way,
the YouTube thing is definitely coming back. I can reassure everybody I will be doing the channel again. Right now, I'm just kind of waiting for more content. I've only got one clutch on the ground. I don't really have much to talk about, and I don't want to make the same videos every single week. So as we start hatching more clutches and I can just make some more content and have some fun stuff to show, it will be back, I promise. And again, I'll say it a fourth time. If there's anybody in Southern Ontario that wants to join the family and join the production.
That's the fourth shout out plug right
Yeah,
there. You know.
I would love to.
I think we're going to get to 8 before this is over.
I know.
I'm going 2 hours, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but if I could just have somebody holding the camera and taking care of post-production, oh my God, I would definitely be able to pump out more content. But that's why my emphasis is really on Instagram, because I can go down to my facility and I can just take a quick 13-second clip on a nice snake, put it up on Instagram, put up some stories, and people can see what's going on. And it's a lot quicker than the entire production side of YouTube.
Now, let me ask you this before we get off the topic of YouTube. And since you've kind of like been in the game, and dude, JP made some noise in the beginning, man. He came in running. Like, he got his fucking following up on Instagram quick, and he got his subs up really quick because he was super consistent and he put some fucking really like mentality behind everything, which is good, you know. But what would be some advice to some new YouTubers out there, or people who are trying to start a new YouTube or anything like that, or thinking about it?
I think it's one of my biggest pieces of advice is, and you don't have to adopt this mentality. This is just my mentality, and I'll say it again. I want every video to have an impact. I want it to be good information, because what ends up happening is when you're a new channel, if somebody has your video recommended to them and they click on it, let's say they like it. The first thing people do when they stumble upon a channel and they see a video they like is they might go to the channel and look up other videos. If you have one good video followed by 10 bad ones, or that are just not good value, then the chances of turning over that customer into a follow or into a sub is very small. But if all of your videos are, even if they're spaced out apart, even if you've got a couple of months between them, if every single video is impactful, it has good information, it's got great production quality, then if somebody hits one video and then they go to a second one and they're wowed by the second one, I guarantee you it's going to land you a sub much faster and your channel might grow quicker. So my emphasis is less is more sometimes. If you don't have enough content to support daily vlogging like Brian Barczyk, or even weekly vlogging, then don't stress out about it. Don't do it. If all you have content is enough for like one video a month, then you're better to make one really amazing quality video a month than, let's say, 4 or 5, mediocre ones. And that's just the mentality that I have. I don't know if you disagree or agree. It's just my mentality.
No, man. Listen, not everyone needs to agree with what you're saying. Like just earlier, you and I were going back and forth on opposites. It just depends on the person. Depends on the situation. Depends how hard in the motherfucking paint somebody wants to go. JP, you were trying to go hard. You weren't kidding in the beginning, bro. And you're not kidding now, but man, you were hitting all the big shows, bro, in the beginning. All the big shows.
Yeah, unfortunately, COVID hit. I had plans, dude. Like, that's why I quit my job in 2019 in December, because my plan was to attend every single major show in the US for the entire year of 2020. And then COVID hit. I went to Justin's facility in February of 2020, and that was the first trip of the year. And then I got back home, and literally like a week and a half later, the NBA shut down. They were the first major institution to shut down from COVID. And it's like everything dropped like flies after that. And all the shows got canceled, and it just really ruined the entire year. And I missed that. Honestly, I miss the shows more than the YouTube, because at the shows, I get to meet people directly face to face and just see what everybody's working on and just have a really good time. And it's just been kind of depressing. Like it sucks. I really wish the shows, I wish COVID didn't happen. I wish, but hopefully this year things, with all the vaccines going out and everybody going crazy for it and all that stuff, and the border's going to be reopening soon, all this stuff. I really hope that things slowly start to get back to normal. If we're ever going to be back to normal, who knows? But I hope the shows get back to normal. I really do.
Let's talk about what's going on in Canada right now, because recently you guys, like a few weeks ago, you guys did another shutdown and whatnot. So what's the update right now with all that?
Let's just say California. Canada is as left-leaning as California is. If California was Canada, like everybody here has the same mindset. So schools have been closed for 2 years. Kids have missed 2 years worth of schooling. You can't go to a barbershop. You can't go nowhere. Everything has been shut down for 2 years. It's absolutely ridiculous.
But we could do that here. I've been getting my haircut this entire time in California.
Yeah. No, nothing like that here, dude. Nothing like that here. Everything here has been shut down for almost 2 years now. And, the Canadian-US border has been closed to driving traffic, but I can still fly into the US. The problem with me flying to the US is upon returning, I have to go into a government-approved, federally watched quarantine hotel that they've designated on my dollar, and I have to pay for 4 days of a room, and I have to stay there until the government says I'm clear to go back home, and that's all on my dollar. So I don't mind doing that, because if there's a good show and I can go meet some people in the States, I have no problem with doing that. I just want to make sure that I'm not going to the US and the shows are not as lively or things are not the way they used to be, and I don't want to go through all that extra expense and that extra headache that I'm going to spend trying to come back to Canada if it doesn't mean it. So right now I'm up in the air about Schaumburg, Illinois. I'm not sure if you're going to be going to that.
Oh, hell, I'm there.
I dropped.
I am there. What the hell? Oh, God, no.
But I'm on the fence about it. I know guys like Ozzy are not going. I know a couple other guys are not going. I'm not sure what's happening with the Schaumburg. I don't know who's planning on going, but I'm up in the air. I might go. It just depends on if it's going to be worth it right now with all of the extra restrictions.
I will be at any and every big show you could fucking think of. And once Canada is allowing me to come in, I will be at shows in Canada. Just let that be known right now.
I don't think there's going to be a show here for a long time, man.
I'm trying to, bro, you know how bad I want to go visit like Will and shit and fucking just go to Canada. Like, man, I haven't been to Canada since I was 19. I've always loved Canada. It's a good place. But anyways, yeah, man, good shit. I want to talk about a snake. Now, unfortunately, I usually steal pictures off people's Instagram and I post it, but you have nothing but reels now. You post nothing but reels now. I don't know what the fuck's going on with you, but is there a reason behind that? Is that because you're gaining more followers off the reels, or why do you just post reels?
Maybe not.
Got it. Reels pays the bills is what you're saying. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I might as well give a little secrets. Again, I don't mind giving secrets, but just so everybody who's in the chat who cares about Instagram in any shape or form.
Listen up.
This is a little piece of information that you may not already know, but if you don't know it, you're learning it from me. Instagram is upset with TikTok taking over some of its market share. So Instagram, in response, created what's called Reels, and they really are trying to gain back the market share that they lost to TikTok. So if you're posting pictures, it's not really going anywhere. It's not getting posted to feeds. It has a very unlikely chance of being shown up in any feed whatsoever. If you're posting IGTV videos, they don't give a crap about that right now. If you're posting a video to your feed, again, they don't care. It's not going nowhere.
Damn,
right now, Instagram only cares about Reels. That's the only traction that they're really pushing. And even small accounts, even guys who have 1,000 followers could get 50,000 views on a Reels. So for anybody who's listening, if you have access to Reels and you care about growing your Instagram, that is the only place you should be focusing your attention right now. And that's just a little trade secret that not many people might know.
Yeah, there you go. That was very player of you, JP. Thank you for sharing that with us.
You're welcome. And I've gained 25,000 followers in the span of the last 5 months doing Reels only, just so you guys can get an idea of how important and how good Reels are.
Damn, I am a reeler from now on. Damn, fuck. Hey, I will say, though, I heard this advice from the homie Mark over at Texas Chondros, but he didn't say anything about just doing Reels, but clearly you've been seeing this from yourself that just Reels is what's getting your account noticed, right?
Yeah. Instagram, the algorithm has completely removed pictures and video posts. They don't care about that stuff anymore. You're just wasting your time. Again, that's only if you care. If you don't care about growing your following, then this doesn't matter. You can post whatever you want and do it however you want. But if you genuinely care about your growth and you want to gain more following, It doesn't matter what channels. It used to be with pictures, you would have to have a certain amount of following to gain a certain amount of traction. Reels, it doesn't matter. Like I said, you could have 100 followers and get a post going viral with 1 million views on it. It doesn't matter how following you have. So the Reels is where you want to focus your attention. And that's why I do exclusively Reels now. My number one post, just so people can get an idea, was posted, I think 3 weeks ago. Yeah, 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was the snake that I put next to the banana. I don't know if you saw it, but it got almost 1.8 million views in the span of a week and almost 50,000 likes in a week.
Damn, JP.
Never gotten that kind of traction on any picture or any Instagram video. So Reels is where it's at.
All right. Say less. I'm doing it. I'm gonna be a fucking realtor now. So
that's it.
Know, at the end of the day, like, people who follow me are the people I have my customers with. So if I could expand that and get people who are really more about the keeping of their animals, dude, why fucking not? That was huge. Thank you, JP. I mean, I post every day, bro, and I stay on top of it. I'm the kind of guy.
The great thing about Reels, though, is you don't need to post every day now. I'm still gaining about 100 followers a day, and I think I've posted like 3 Reels in the last 3 weeks. Yeah. The great thing about Reels is when you post pictures and videos, they give you like a time limit as to when it can be seen. Reels can keep going and going and going in the background. I have Reels from 2 months ago that just got picked up again by algorithm and just got another 100,000 followers or views on it and another 1,000 followers from it. So you could have like 30 Reels up and you just ignore them. You might only get 1,000 views on one today, but maybe in 2 weeks, that 1,000 just tripled out of nowhere. So they're always running in the background, and they can always just take off at any point in time. And that's the beauty about them. You just put up 6 of them and just let them run, and you'll see some great traction, hopefully.
Damn. What about hashtags? Are you using the hashtags in your Reels or no?
Absolutely, yes. You always want to use hashtags. You always want to use different hashtags. You want to have different groups of hashtags that I use. Change them up. You also want to pick good music. You could have a really, really badass reel, but if your music doesn't really fit the track or is not interesting, then it can be a turnoff. Sound you already know the sound is the most important thing in any production.
Yeah.
Right. So just because you like AC/DC, well, you got to ask, this is the things you got to ask yourself from a business level. Why is TikTok so popular? Why are Reels?
Corny music, the fucking corny ass music.
Not just that. Who is the primary demographics of TikTok?
Kids.
Do kids know what AC/DC is?
No, they think Nirvana.
No. Yeah. So you want to put up the JBs, the Drakes, these little quirky things, the Doja Cats, whatever her name is, and the freaking, you got to
basically whatever they recommend is what you play. I can tell you that right now. They give you recommendations, and I could tell you any reel that has hit over 10,000 views for me was when I picked one of their fucking corny ass songs. I can tell you that right now.
And the Instagram algorithm recognizes trendy videos, and all of the trendy videos have the same music on them, so they were recognized by trendy music. So if you're posting music because you think it's cool, but it's not trendy, then you also hurt your ability to really get exposed. So again, little trade secrets: use trendy hashtags, use trendy music, put up good quality reels, short clips, and anybody, even if you only got 5 snakes in your collection, should be able to see some great movement in their Instagram traction.
There you go.
Can I just give a quick shout out? DRP or DPR Cold Blood in Montreal. Cedric. Is it Antoine or Cedric? I always mix the two. Anyways, he reached out to me for some Instagram advice, and we had a long chat about the whole Instagram. Yeah, DRP Cold Blood. So this guy right here.
I'm gonna put him up right now.
Yeah. So he reached out to me for some advice, and if you go over to his Reels page, I mean, this guy, he's only got 7,000 followers, but he's got Reels with 97,000 views, 52,000 views, 50,000. He's got a reel with 561,000 views on it.
Killing it.
He's killing it. So the reason why I'm pointing this out is because it doesn't matter how big of an account you have. If you just focus on the reels, you can get anything to go viral, and you can get some crazy traction with it.
And that's why this is the coolest reptile podcast in the game. My homies like to share their shit. That's what's up. Thank you, JP.
You're welcome.
That probably motivated a lot of people to go do some reels, like myself.
I know. Ever since I've been telling people about it, more and more reels are coming up on my feed every day. It's funny.
So funny. All right, let's talk about some hatchlings, man. I was able to steal some off. Look at this fucking beauty, bro. This is obviously a Batman combo or something. Am I right? Or what is?
Yeah,
this?
It's a pastel Batman.
And this is a 2020 production.
Yes. So that snake has been sold to a cat church from her business name is Ball Morphix. She's on Instagram, and she was amazing customer to deal with. She lives in Alberta, and she's been very supportive. She actually helped us through some of the challenges with my daughter as well, and she's been very supportive of me in terms of being a first-time dad. So we've gone a lot of back and forth, and she's just a really great person, and she's taking care of him now. But he's great. And what's very interesting about him is there's no pied from what I'm aware of in his lineage, but yet he came out with that insane ringer. So
yeah, look at that thing by your thumb. Wow. It's like it's so white it camouflages with the napkin, with the paper towel. You don't even see it.
Now, here's the thing. A lot of the babies that have been hatching from my original Batman have been coming out with ringers. So it leads me to believe, is it possible that the leopard gene was from Justin, because the parents were from Justin? Is it possible that the leopard that he used to create my Batman, which I have, could it have been secretly holding a het pied influence? Is it possible that mine is het pied? Could be just a fluke, but that's not the first time that he's thrown out babies with ringers. So it's very interesting.
Well, I mean, only time will tell what the hell that really means, right?
Exactly. So that was a great snake. And like I said, I'm having the same thing as you. I'm having a really, this thing is just wild. So that picture, I actually hate that reel. It doesn't do it justice. I had terrible lighting there. If you actually go to my if you go to my Facebook, I actually did proper photo shoot with him, and that's a red striped spot nose, yellow belly clown, double het lavender pied male. And I believe it's a world's first. Wow. And he's absolutely stunning in person. And I have a 1,500 gram female lavender clown on the shelf that's going to be looking for this boy to go to and hopefully make the world's first next year. Red striped yellow belly spot nose lavender clown. Maybe that would be super awesome. So I'm really excited about that one.
Wow. Yeah, that's honestly, man, this thing's impressive. And I'm telling you right now, JP, just from somebody who's been watching your production from the outside, all the stuff you've been shooting for, and I meant when we and JP became friends, like he started telling me all this stuff he's been shooting for. I remember in 2019, you were telling me what you're going for in 2020. And I could tell you right now, man, the stuff you're producing is your own quality of shit. It doesn't look like nobody else's. And I want to let you know that just shows that the quality in animals that you invested in is kind of proving why you invest in quality, not quantity.
Exactly. Yep.
So that was so smart of you. And I'm telling you right now, man, like
what's funny is I hit that visual clown with all those genes off a het to visual pairing. That's how crazy that was.
That's intense.
So unfortunately the rest of the clutch was a little meh, but hey, I got one good animal.
All you need is that one sometimes, you know?
Yeah, it's just all it takes. So I was so excited to see that. I actually thought it was a Pompeii at first, but then when it came out of the egg, I knew right away it was missing the black pastel. But could you imagine if it was the world's first Pompeii het lavender?
So your whatchamacallit, your end goal, I should say, or the future big plans for this one is what? What would you want to put this one to?
So this is going to be to expand my lavender clown project.
Got it.
Yeah, 100%.
Are you going to try to prove out that pied at some point, you think, as well?
Well, the lavender clown that I bought, I got her from Justin when I was at his facility in 2020, February. And she is 50% possible het pied.
Right. Okay.
So if she proves and I don't necessarily want her to prove in this case because I don't want to make a spot nose pied. We all know that's a white snake.
Right.
But I mean, it would be pretty cool to make like a red stripe, yellow belly, lavender clown pied. I mean, that'd be pretty sick. Who knows? The future is endless, absolutely endless. And it was so funny because before I approached this pairing this year, I had a choice. I was like, do I breed my orange dream dreamsicle to my dreamsicle female and just make a bunch of dreams? Mm-hmm. From a financial standpoint, I probably would have done a lot better doing that. But my goal on that pairing wasn't the financials. I didn't care about just making a bunch of dreams just to sell and then make a quick buck. I really wanted to focus on getting something of value and quality for my future pairing. And that's why I chose to go the clown route, because she was het clown. And like I said, the entire clutch turned out to be not so great, except for the one animal. But that one animal is going to set the stage for my future with my Grail projects going forward. So it's for anybody who's looking at breeding, it's not always about the money. It's not always about making as much as you can per clutch. Sometimes you really got to prioritize and think about your future and the animals you want in your collection. My philosophy in breeding is breed for myself first. What do I need to do to add to my collection?
This guy's killing it. This is fucking, you're on fire right now. That's fucking amazing. Because it is about it, dude. It should be about what you want, nobody else.
Yeah, so the money is secondary. My mentality is breed for what is for your collection first, and if you do a good job at that, the money will follow secondary, and you'll do well.
Respect.
Yeah,
and that makes all the sense in the world. And at the end of the day, whatever, let's just say, doesn't sell, you're still happy with. That's something that you were shooting for. That's yours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's crazy too. I think we talked about not too long ago on the Patreon page about like, jeans that could just go from nothing to something, like Red Stripe. Like, remember when Red Stripe just became a fucking—
They were $40,
$40, and then it turned into what, a $300 or $400 snake,
multi-$1,000 snake.
Dude, what the fuck? Where were you at in the game when that happened? Were you like still building your stuff? Were you already having stuff breeding? Because that was like 2018 or something like that, but I can't remember.
It was late 2018 that Justin had announced the Pompeii, and that's when Red Stripe, he actually, I don't know if you remember, but he crashed Morph Market.
Whoa.
When he put out the
I don't remember that at all.
When he put out the first Pompeii video that night, apparently Morph Market had crashed completely because everybody had gone on and it was trying to scoop up every Red Stripe. There was too much traffic to the website. And
that is so hard.
And then the next day, every Red Stripe was sold. There was no Red Stripes available. So they went from like $40 to overnight, $500, $1,000 just for single gene Red Stripes, not even het anything. And then, you had a gene for $40 that nobody wanted that you couldn't even give away. And then people were spending, like me, were spending $6,000 on a Red Stripe clown. So it was like, it just was night and day. So it just shows you like anything can become something. Like you never know. Just you got to find the right gene, and yeah.
That's crazy. I never knew about that. That's crazy. That's a cool story. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, he crashed Morph Market. I still laugh about it today. It was, you couldn't even log in. You couldn't even open up the page. It was something went wrong. And it was a blank page.
I'm going to share some of these pairings I stole off your account. Let's kind of talk about them, see where they're at. Like, let's talk about this one. This looks really, really sick.
Yeah, dude, feel free to ask me anything. Like, go in depth. I mean, it's been a while since I've.
What's going on with this right here? Can you kind of tell us what's at play and where this is at?
Yeah, so the female is a Firefly clown. I actually also think she might be yellow belly because I had some hatchlings last year from her that was they look like yellow belly clowns to me, but I'm gonna be looking to see if I can prove that again this year. And the male is a banana leopard hurricane het clown female maker. So all the bananas he throws out are females. And I'm trying to get these guys going. She's still not at a stage where I'm confident she's going to go. She did go 2 years in a row. She might take this year off, but we're still working on it. And, like I said, I only had about 5 males to work with. And I really, really like the Hurricane project. Hurricane, I think, is like, people will say what they want. People are saying it's the same as Tricks and Blitz, and it's probably true. But at the end of the day, I like the Hurricane name more. I think there's more marketability with the name Hurricane. I think it sounds better. I think the sky is endless, and I'm really excited about that project. And I only made one. I only got lucky and blessed with one, but I made a visual hurricane clown last year. It was a banana hurricane clown female, and she is like a monster machine. I mean, she's eating, and I just want to make more. I want to make more hurricane stuff. This is something I'm excited to do. Is it ideal, like pastel and banana? Not necessarily, but like I said, I don't have many males this year to work with, unfortunately. So I had two options. Either I breed a Batman to her again and just make Firefly Batmans again, which I've already done 2 years in a row. I don't want to do that again. He was my only other alternative. So even though banana and pastel may not necessarily be the best, they still look great, but it's not ideally the best pairing. I'm just working with what I have. And I thought that was the best option available to me today.
Okay. So hopefully things go, but if not, more likely next year.
Yeah. I'm still not sure on her.
Okay. Now this thing right here. Go ahead. Were you gonna say something else?
No. So go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I want to talk about this pie project here.
Yeah, so I'm really slacking on the Dreamsicle combo project. I've got Dreamsicles, but I'm really slacking on the Enchies and the Yellow Bellies and ODs and all that stuff. And I really wanted to make like a pied combo het lavender this year to breed back to my Dreamsicles next year. So my goal here was to hopefully, this is a Fire OD YB Super Enchi pied to a lavender het pied.
Nice.
I'm pretty confident at this stage she's not going to go.
And why is that? Why just because you're not seeing any? Is she's still eating, or like, what? Kind of tell us what it is that you think. Why you think?
So she was sold to me as a picky female, and she's been pretty much an ASF only girl since I got her. And I ran out of ASFs midwinter. That was part of the problem. The only supplier I was able to buy ASFs from was unable to supply me. There was another guy that was making ASFs, but unfortunately, he had some major issues that I just didn't want to be a part of. So I stayed away from buying from him. So unfortunately, I kind of ran out of food, and right in that sweet spot where she was starting to build, and she reabsorbed, and which is not a big deal because, again, I'm patient, and we're going to be correcting that going into this year. But it just means I got to wait a whole nother year before I start working on my multi-gene lavender pied projects.
Yeah, your lavender shit is definitely a force to be reckoned with, and it's just a matter of time. You know what I mean? I'll tell you that.
Next year is going to be huge.
Checking in on that because, like I said, it's right for sure. Yeah. Look at this one though too. This is going to be sick as fuck. What's going on here? This is the same sire, but what's the female?
So this is the one we were talking about earlier, the leopard clown pied, who produced 6. She dropped eggs 2 days ago, 6 beautiful eggs. And she was a snake that I was really worried about. I mean, she looks big in this picture, but if you actually hold her in person at the time of this shot, the male is only around 650 grams in that shot. He's not as big as he looks. Okay. Right. So she was never really a thick, big female. And she was off food for over a year. And the pairing here was really designed to just try to get her back on food. And she only ate 4 ASFs for me in the span of a total period of around a year and 3 months. And shockingly enough, she produced follicles off very little food. She dropped an amazing clutch, and she looks great right now after. So I think, again, this is just one of those things that I think, do I think she would have had the same success off 4 rats? I don't know. I think the ASFs played a role in this, and that she was able to continue with the production and give a strong, viable clutch. So that has hatched. It's a Fire OD YB Super Enchi pied to a leopard clown pied. So everything is going to be at very least Enchi pied het clown. And then there could be multi-gene combos. My goal here is to produce the father again, Fire OD YB Enchi pied het clown male that I could keep back, because I've got her and 3 other clown pied combos next year to breed that I could run him to and make all kinds of really amazing clown pieds combos. So that's the goal there.
Dreamy. Look at this shit.
Yeah. God. Really bad shot. He's a lot prettier in person. Bad lighting there, but this is going to be a dual sire. I don't know which one's going to be the father. This is her second year going in a row. This is a leopard pinstripe Desert Ghost hypo. She gave me 9 eggs last year, and hopefully she does well again this year. So I started her because the Pompey had a lot of work to do. I really wanted to space him out so that he wouldn't get too tired. I started her off on the DG Clown. The DG Clown was just designed to get her going. And then the goal was to swap him in later when she was above 20 millimeters. So what ended up happening was this is the second lock on her ever. And the reason why I put the Pompey to her a lot faster than I wanted to is because she just went bananas. Like, she was sitting around, 10, 15 millimeter follicles. And then a month later, I ultrasounded her and she was at like 30. So I was like, holy crap, what happened? She's going crazy.
Wow.
So I needed to get another lock in there because although a leopard pinstripe DG double het hypo clown is a great snake, don't get me wrong, that's a great pairing. My ideal pairing here is to make all the genes from the Pompeii Desert Ghost hypo clowns that I could keep back and really work on the Desert Ghost hypo project, because I think the Desert Ghost hypo project is going to be just as hot as the DG clown project. So that was the goal here. So I'm hoping that he ends up being the father, but I won't be disappointed if it's a DG clown either.
Yeah, I wouldn't be disappointed either.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with either or.
Snake breeder problems. That's so funny.
Exactly.
All right, let me show one more pair. I'm going to get into some other snakes after this. But look, this is probably the one I'm most excited to ask you about. I'm not going to lie. Because this shit's like, whoa, what the fuck? I'm in love. What is this right here? Could you kind of tell us what's that play?
Yeah, so a little bit of backstory. I bought this female, which is the Ultramel. She's a black pastel, I think yellow belly Ultramel. And she's het hypo, but I don't really care about the hypo because I'm not shooting for hypo Ultramels. That's not my immediate concern. But I bought this girl from Daniel Allison, Constriction Addiction, at a Tinley show, and my goal with her all the time has been to make ultra clowns. Now, ultimately, what I was hoping was last year to find somebody to sell me an Ultramel clown male. Okay, couldn't find one. Nobody, and the only guy that I knew was producing them, Sam Ronk, didn't want to sell me one, unfortunately. So I couldn't get my hands on one. So I said, you know what? Forget it. I'm just going to make double visuals and make that project on my own and work my way a bit longer. So I have black pastel in a couple of my males, and he was the only other male that made sense for this pairing. So this is a Fire Batman. I produced him. He's my personal male. He was one of my first clutches from 2019. And so I decided to put him on there so I could make Fire, Leopard, Spot Nose, Black Pastel, Yellow Belly, Double Het, Ultramel clowns out of this pairing, which I'm really hoping. And I'm just going to start working my way towards the Ultra Clown project.
There you go. Added to the list of amazing shit coming from J Piz. That shit's sick, bro.
Yep.
I'm excited.
And I'm doing the same thing with Monarch.
Right. Nice. You and I share the same interest in this snake for sure. We've talked about it multiple times, but goddamn. Whew. Gorgeous, bro.
Yeah, so I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with this female.
Tell us why, please.
So this snake is the absolute worst eater in my entire collection.
God.
I bought this snake, I think, 2 years ago, and she hasn't grown at all, period. She eats maybe one rat every 4 months.
How big is she?
She's been sitting around 1,100 grams for the last 2 years.
And
now,
she won't move.
She's not unhealthy. Like when I pick her up, she's energetic, she's slithering around, she's great. But for some reason, she just doesn't want to push the envelope. And I've debated moving on from her. But at the end of the day, it's one of my favorite snakes appearance-wise. I think she just looks so phenomenal. And she brings a lot of value to my social media because she goes viral every single time I post her. The last time I posted her, I got 500,000 views on it.
Oh my God.
So this one of those snakes that at this point, she's more or less a pet. Do I hope that she, turns the corner? I've locked her up a couple of times over the years and it just doesn't seem to work. She just doesn't want to push beyond that 1,200 gram range. So at this point, she's just stuck where she is. And unfortunately it is what it is, but I still really enjoy pulling her out of the tub and looking at her. And, right now she's just a really cool pet and I'm going to hang on to her as a pet for now with no real urgency in breeding her.
Now, let me ask you this. Are you going to maybe because I'm assuming you only keep her on ASFs, right? That girl's only been on ASFs, right?
She won't eat she doesn't eat anything if she doesn't want to eat, whether it's mice, ASFs or rats. If she's not,
what would she prefer?
They're all the same. She doesn't prefer one over the other. If she's not in the mood to eat, she will refuse all of them.
So she eats when she wants to eat, type of thing.
Correct. Yeah.
So she's a pain in the ass.
She's a real pain in the ass, but like I said, she's very pretty, and she's one of the only snakes that it doesn't cost me any money to keep her, right?
Right. So no, I hear you. Yeah.
There's no reason for me to sell her and move on from her because she's a pretty snake, and she makes people happy, and people love to see her on social media, and I like looking at her. So she's just going to hang out in the tubs and just, chill.
And these snakes live a long time. She could turn the corner in any minute. You know what I mean? So
you never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
These are animals. So,
and I'm starting to, I don't know if you've been following me too much, but I'm starting to get my little toes wet in different snakes.
I see. Yep. We'll talk about that in a sec. You just have so much fire fucking ball pythons. We have to go through this first. This right here, like, God, bro, talk about, Marcus Jane, obviously, this is an MJ, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah. So this is an MJ exanthic pied. And
Woo!
As much as I love VPI and TSK and all these other lines, I've never seen this female is 1,400 grams in this shot, roughly, just so you know.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen an exanthic pied of any lineage look that good at that size?
No.
The white is so bright, the contrast is there, and it makes me believe that MJ really is superior. That's what everybody says. Again, I don't have any VPI in my collection, so I can't comment on the data behind VPI, but from what I've seen, nobody has shown me a pie that looks this good. And I don't know if it's genuinely because she's MJ exanthic, or maybe I'm just lucky. Maybe she's just a really good example of MJ. Who knows? All I know is this snake is amazing. I could have bred her this year, but I just wasn't quite happy with her size. I wanted her to be a little bit bigger. I want to get her up to like 1,600 grams before I start pushing the envelope. So this fall, it's going to be Fire OD YB Super Enchi pied to this MJ exanthic pied, and I'm going to start working my way to combo MJ exanthic pieds, because MJ exanthic has been out for years and years, but we haven't seen anything other than MJ exanthics for years and years. Where's all the combos? So I'm going to start working on those combos.
I just feel like anything that's named MJ is epic and legendary. I just got to say, I don't know what the fuck it is. Michael Jordan, Mary Jane, fucking, Michael Jackson. And then now you have MJ Exantics, and you have MJ Exotics Cartel.
And you know what's funny
is
I've got a really good friend out in California, I Am Thompson. And I don't know if you've heard of him. If you've seen his,
that's my hobby too. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Thompson is really cool. And he's absolutely in love with the MJ line. And, I didn't have any to...
He has a lot of
so he got them from me, but I didn't produce them. I had to help him source them because he wasn't able to find them. So I know
where he got them from. He got them from Freedom Breeder.
No, not the MJs. He got them from
the MJs. My bad. No, he picked up like a huge group of pieds from Freedom Breeder. Don't actually know who we got the MJ from, though, for sure.
Yeah, no. So he called me up one day and he was like, Jordan, man, I really, really like, because he saw that exact post and he was like, Jordan, I love this snake. Can you get me some MJ pies? I said, I'm not producing them yet, but if you want, I can try to source them for you. So I spent about a week looking for them, and they actually came from a guy in Alberta, Oddball Reptiles. He produces amazing stuff, and so I picked them up from him. And not only did I source the snakes for him, but I shipped them out to him for free. I paid for all the shipping costs to get them to Thompson because I'm just, a nice guy, and I wanted to help him out. And so he's going to be working with that line, and I've had many messages from other people looking to get some MJ pieds, and hopefully I'll be producing them soon. But I think there's a lot of guys in the States that are looking to get into this project as well, and I'm really excited to see where it goes.
I'm excited too, man. Good shit. Now this, you want to talk about, what the fuck is this, bro? Like, this right here just slaps. Like, this is, tell me.
Yeah, so I produced this snake. It's a male, and he's definitely a holdback. He's going to be joining the lineup next year. So I know 100% without a doubt it's a black pastel dreamsicle. There's no question in my mind. If you see the snake in person, the orange banding on the edges is way, way darker and richer than what I was able to capture on camera. And the second saddle is really faded, and that really it doesn't look like any dreamsicle that we've ever seen before. And I think it's really the influence from the black pastel. So I'm 100% positive that one's going to prove out to be black pastel. The only outlier is the orange dream. There's never been a black pastel orange dream dreamsicle, and orange dream dreamsicles are hard to identify in themselves. It's really hard to pick out OD in lavenders. So I've marked it on his label, but I would say I'm 80% sure that it's going to be OD. There is a 20% chance it may not be. So if it does prove out to be both, then he's going to become my new dreamsicle male.
Respect. Another dreamy snake. What the fuck? Look at this ringer.
That's the pastel Batman we were talking about earlier.
This is the baby picture of it.
Correct.
Wow, look at that thing, bro. look how I actually experienced hatching a snake with a ringer like this. It was like to a possible pied, and I got all excited because I thought I hit. I was like, oh my god, it's pied. But no, dude, I didn't think ringers could be this legit. Like, this is like,
and there's no pied. Apparently, there's not supposed to be any pied in his parents, and he had influence or nothing. So it leads me to believe, because he's not the only snake that's come out from my Batman who has gotten a big ringer. So it makes me believe, because Justin did tell me that initially his initial leopard stock had a lot of pieds in them. It was tied to pied a lot. So it is quite possible over the generations from his leopard stock that pied has creeped through the generations, and it is quite possible that my Batman might actually have pied as well.
Okay. I think this is your last, and this is pretty much the holdback of yours, I'm assuming. This thing's fire, but this...
I didn't produce that snake. I bought that snake, and big shout out to probably the nicest guy I've ever spoke to in the industry, and that's Mark Bailey.
Oh, the homie Mark. That's my boy.
Yeah, Mark Bailey is the most genuine person. He hooked me up big time with a great deal on this snake, and there's actually some back and forth. So he labeled it as a Orange Dream Vanilla Cream Clown, which is Orange Dream Vanilla Fire Clown. But he actually had Ozzy help him getting the snake to me, because Ozzy ships up to Mandic, and Mandic got the snake to me. And when Ozzy received the snake in his collection, he asked Mark Bailey for the parents. And there was Orange Dream in both parents. And Ozzy believes that this snake is potentially a super OD vanilla cream clown.
Fuck.
So if it does prove out to be super OD vanilla cream clown, this thing is, especially for the price I got it, is the most insane. I think Mark Bailey hooked me up with the most insane hookup and the most insane snake I've bought for the last 2 years. I mean, that thing is just unbelievable.
And my favorite thing about Mark Bailey, you ready?
Yep.
He ain't got no Instagram, baby. He's fucking low key, super low key. You gotta know.
I don't know how he does it, dude. Like, he's so successful, and he has no social media whatsoever, but he sells out every year. Like, shout out to that guy. I mean, that guy, bro. He's got his head screwed on tight. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you just reminded me I should hit him up. I got it. He's just one of the nicest guys to talk to. I always take something back after I talk to him. Good call out, man.
And he got me inspired, just so you know.
That's huge.
Quick funny story. I don't know if you want to hear it or not.
Of course I want to hear it.
But so he's been working the G-Stripe Clown project behind the scenes pretty hard. And this is before I even had any interest in G-Stripe Clowns. I've only ever seen one combo, and it was from Tom Harbin, the G-Stripe Monarch Clown that he made, the triple recessive. Right. And I've never seen one since. So when I bought the snake, he started sharing with me some pictures of his G-Stripe Clown project, and I fell in love instantly. I think G-Stripe Clowns are so freaking sick. So I was begging him, dude. And Shelby, I don't know if you know Merchant's Morph, it's so funny. Yeah. But I called up Shelby, and I was like, dude, should I make an aggressive offer on one of Mark Bailey's G-Stripe Clowns that are not for sale? And he was like, dude, don't mess with that guy. If you're telling him you're going to buy something, then you better stick to your guns, because he'll cut you off after that. So don't mess with him.
Right.
So I said, no worries. So I called up Mark Bailey, and the guy wouldn't budge. No matter how aggressive I was, he would not sell me, because he wanted it for his collection. So you know what I did? I reached out to probably a dozen people all across Canada and in the States, begging somebody to sell me a G-Stripe, just single gene, proven female. Finally, a guy here in Ontario, Southern Ontario, said, I got one for you. She laid 10 eggs for me last year. She's laid every single year for me 4 years. It's just a G-Stripe. He sold her to me for $500. Okay. Got that snake into my collection, slapped the Pompeii to her, and she's going to lay a clutch in probably about 4 days from now.
Wow.
So I'm working. I got so inspired by Mark Bailey that I harassed MBK Reptiles in Montreal. I think I messaged him like a dozen times. He got so sick. He was reading my messages, not even answering me anymore.
JP, that's JP for you right there.
I was like, dude, please. I know you have a dozen G-Stripes. Just give me one of them, please. And he wouldn't budge. So this guy in Southern Ontario, Forest City Reptiles, he gave me one. His name is Alex, for $500, super cheap. and great female. She's huge. That's my biggest girl. She's like 5,500 grams, and she lays massive clutches. So I got her. I got the Pompeii into her. She's going to drop a clutch here very shortly, and it's going to be my first combo double head to start working on my G-Stripe Clown project, because I'm absolutely in love with that project now. And if I get 10 to 12 eggs out of her, I'm going to be like over the moon.
Yeah, for sure. I bet. That's
so
awesome.
Yeah, just quick story. I know it's boring, but I'm sorry, but I just
that wasn't boring. No, that's actually fucking hilarious. That's good. Let's talk about this last clown right here. What's going on here? This is fire too. I
so
like.
If you're going to show him, you have to show the counterpart. They were my two best hatchlings of 2020.
Okay. What's the counterpart?
It was the mahogany combo. If you'll find it on my Instagram.
How far is it? Like kind of near this one?
It should be very near that one. I actually posted them in a tub together. If you want to find it, they were in a Sterilite tub, both of the two males together.
Yeah. So why don't we start talking about this one real quick, and I'll pull this one up here in just a sec.
Okay, so this one I hatched, and I wasn't expecting it. So I did zero research on cinnamon. I had no real guidance on cinnamon. I didn't know cinnamon clowns were a thing, like they were all that great. So right. I have a Fire ODYB spot nose clown male, and I had a Cine yellow belly het clown female. Okay, so I decided he was my only male available to breed her. So I put them together, not really expecting much. I knew it was going to be cool, but I didn't know it was going to be this cool. And that's a shitty picture. You should pull up the original picture of that snake when he first hatched. Okay.
Is this it though? Is this the one side by side that you're talking about?
But you should find the photos off my Facebook if you can of the proper photo shoot I did of them. It's because the lighting is bad. Again, my lighting isn't the greatest.
Okay, JP. Is this it? I think. Okay. Anyways, but let's keep talking. Let's keep going.
So this is at the very least, it's a Fire yellow belly spot nose cinnamon clown. It might be Orange Dream. I just don't know. Some people say it is. Some people say it's not. But I don't know. And I was so shocked with how beautiful the snake was coming out. And it just opened my eyes to the cinnamon clowns. And I was like, oh my God. When you mix Fire and Cine and clown, it literally turns a snake like xanthic looking. It's like a silvery gray. And if you really want to see this snake in all of its glory, that the last YouTube video that I put out 6 months ago featured that snake with my proper, my insane camera gear.
Is that one? Am I tripping? That's it, right?
That's the same one, yeah. So if you watch the video, my camera picks up the colors way better than my phone, because these shots you're pulling up right now are pulled up with my phone. And it just was like, it blew me away. And I was like, oh my God. And to know that I hit that combo off a visual to a het pairing, I mean, if that proves out everything, that's a 1 in 64 chance to hit. That's how insane it is. God, so I got blessed. Last year, my odds were in my favor, and it just opened my eyes. And I think, and if you go to DRP Coldblood's Instagram, he had something very similar to that snake. I think it's missing the spot nose, but it does have the Orange Dream, and it's a cinnamon Fire. And it was like, we both were talking back and forth, and we're like, dude, Cine clowns are like the future. I mean,
I feel like that's true too, bro. For sure.
That's
and these are clutch mates, right? So this one just has pastel on the right.
No pastel in that snake.
What the fuck? It's just a Fire?
No, so that's what I believe to be, and Justin actually agreed with me on the assessment. We believe it's a Fire Orange Dream yellow belly spot nose mahogany clown.
Oh, the mahogany. Got it.
Yeah, so this is everything on the mahogany, and it was a very informative pairing. Both these snakes, well, not the Cine one, but the mahogany one is a world's first. It's never been made before. I'm also the only person to my knowledge that has combined that many light genes on the mahogany. Justin has done a lot of stuff with the dark stuff like Confusion, Black Pastel, and Leopard and stuff in the mahogany stuff. But I'm the first person to really put multiple light genes on mahogany. And what I was really looking for here was to answer a question, because we know traditionally mahogany works incredibly well with a second dark gene, but we didn't know how well it would work with multiple light genes. So this is a world's first. Again, to hit those odds was a 1 in 64 chance. I hit it. I can't believe it. I mean, unbelievable odds to get that snake. And it's a world's first, but it answered a very valuable question to me. As much as that snake is amazing in all of its glory, its head stamp for me is the best. If you find it later on when you're not watching on my Facebook, you'll see my photo shoot with that snake. It's head stamp, and it's like eyelashes, and it looks like it has mascara. It's crazy. It has one of the coolest head stamps.
Scare.
Yeah, it's really cool. But I think it answered a very valuable question to me in that I think mahogany needs another dark gene. So if I can get that snake bred back to like a confusion clown or a leopard or something else to bring another element of darkness there, I think it's going to be off the charts.
What do you think GHI would do to it?
Not sure. I'm not a big fan of GHI clowns, to be quite honest.
Me neither, dude.
They fade so fast.
I've seen maybe one or two where I'm like, okay, that looks good, but it had like Mojave or something in it. But like, I totally agree with you. And I have one GHI clown project that I'm pursuing, but I'm also it's a test. Like it's something where I'm like, I hope it turns out good, but I don't know what it's gonna be like. You know what I mean? Because I'm the same way. I would say 9 out of 10 GHI clowns I've seen, I'm just like, pass. I'm good. It doesn't.
For me, it's most of the ball pythons end up fading into adulthood. That you can't get away from it. None of them look as good as they were as babies. But right. From what I've seen so far with the GHIs, they seem to fade out quicker. And it was just kind of a turnoff for me. But again, it's still early, right? Maybe we just haven't found that right combo.
Yeah. Okay. I have no other choice but to show other snakes. As I scroll down, I'm like, God damn it. So I want to talk about more. This thing right here, man.
That thing is one of my favorites. So that is the one I was talking about earlier. It was my first hurricane clown combo that I personally produced.
Oh my God. Fire.
And that's a banana hurricane clown. And I mean, a lot of guys don't like banana, and you know what? That's fine. If you want to give me all your bananas, I'll be more than happy to have a whole wall of bananas in my facility. I love banana. It's so cool.
Yeah, I love.
When you add fire and leopard to bananas, it really preserves their colors, and they're just so bright. Like if you scroll down a little bit further and you find my fire orange dream leopard banana clown, I mean, she's 1,000 grams today, and she's brighter than she was as a baby. I mean, banana has some serious potential. So I'm so happy that I hit that as a female. And like I said, I love hurricane, mahogany, hurricane, banana, desert ghost. Like these are some of and cinnamon. These are some of the cornerstones of my collection going forward.
What's your game plan? What's your like, if everything goes right, you know, what's the plan for this snake once it's game time?
Pompeii all the way.
Ship it. Dude,
hurricane works really well with a second dark gene. So if you put black pastel and hurricane, it's phenomenal. So and black pastel and banana also work amazingly together. It brings out some really deep oranges. Now you throw in red stripe and yellow belly and spot nose and hurricane go so well. I mean, that could be probably like one of the most insane snakes you would ever see. So I'm hoping that pans out, and I just can't wait for that.
Wow.
That's not my snake. I tried to bully Mutation Creation into selling me that snake, and he wouldn't budge. He wouldn't budge. Yeah, it's an Enchi Dreamsicle, and I need some Enchi Lavender in my life, and unfortunately, I don't have one.
Oh, that thing's sick, bro.
But that one's not mine. Yeah.
Hey, but
I'm giving away everybody of my trade secrets right now. You're making me divulge all my secrets. Okay, you got to leave some stuff up to imagination.
That's very true. But I just, this is your fault for telling me to, hey, scroll down, go get the other one. I did. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? So you have to forgive me here, JP. But you know, you're talking about getting into other species and stuff. What's this all about?
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I kind of got a little itch for some retics, and that was the first retic. She's a super dwarf. Okay. I mean, I watched Garrett Hartle's video about how super dwarves, not everybody really advertises them properly. So I don't really know if it's truly, you know, a 70% super dwarf like it's claimed to be, or if it's just a marketing ploy. I really don't know. All I know is this is a purple albino, and she's pretty cool. I'm actually picking up my second retic probably in a couple of weeks when she had her first meal. It's going to be a platinum tiger.
Wow.
Again, nothing crazy. These are not like groundbreaking morphs, but it's another super dwarf. And I have no intentions on breeding them. I don't want to breed retics. It's just for pets. Because I think they're really cool.
You'll never, like, no matter what, like, even if you have the time, space, all that, you'll never want to breed them or try.
Yeah, my one friend who breeds retics exclusively tells me that the males could be quite nasty.
Oh yeah,
during the breeding season. I don't really want to deal with a 15-foot snake trying to bite me.
It's like a light switch. Let me tell you that right now. It's intense, and I'm talking like dwarfs and adults. You know what I mean? Like super dwarfs are just as insane. You know.
Yeah, so I'm just picking up a couple of retics as a couple of pets just to have something exciting. I want to make eventually like a projects room, kind of like what Justin did, where I just have some different species of animals to kind of play around with and just do something a little bit differently than the ball pythons. So those are just 2 pets. I do want a third retic, and the third one that I want is a pied. I just think pied retics are the most beautiful retics ever.
Right.
And then I got a little bit itch into the boa game. I actually might consider breeding boas. I picked up my first boa. I don't know if you saw it on my Instagram page.
Yeah. Hold on, I have it. Hold on.
That snake is my favorite snake in my facility.
Yeah,
it beats out even the Pompeii. It beats out every ball python that I have.
I think you might be right, because I saw this and I was like, what the fuck? This thing is nuts.
It is jet black. She's just a baby. It's an IMG Anery Motley. And if the breeder was telling me, who produced this, Dan up in Alberta, Big D Exotics, amazing quality boas. And he sent me the snake, and I just pulled out of the box, and I was like, oh my God, like, you put this thing in sunlight and it's iridescent. The rainbow shines off it. This is hands down the prettiest, in my opinion, snake in my entire facility. It beats out every ball python. I play with this snake more than I probably should. She's mean as hell. I have to pick her up with gloves to get her out before she calms down.
Wow.
But I don't care. She's getting better. I actually just over a week ago, I started picking her up without gloves. She's starting to relax and understand who I am. But and she's so strong, like compared to the ball pythons, even as a baby.
See how much muscle they have, bro?
The boas beat out balls in strength. Like, oh my God.
They're all muscle, bro. They're like one big rip muscle. It's crazy. That's why that's why you don't feed them as much either, because they digest super slow. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like he told me only feed her 1 mouse until she gets a bit older. And so I fed her a mouse. It takes her like 3 weeks to shit.
Yep.
Off just 1 mouse. So you're right. Like they're very slow at processing their food. And he told me if she's this black at this age, she's going to be jet black as an adult. And what's so cool is her belly is also jet black with shiny scales, and her tongue is jet black too. It's the coolest snake I have. And he sent me some pictures of some more boa. And I actually have a guy who bought a snake from me recently. His name, I have him here on my phone. His name is Greg. If I can just find him really fast, sorry. Can't find him because I get so many messages. But anyways, his name is Greg, and he bought a snake and he breeds boas. I really wanted to find his name because I wanted to shout him out. But anyways, he breeds boas. So he and Big Dan have been sending me clips of some of their boas. I love the snow stuff. I love the moon glow stuff. Again, I'm not looking to be a cutting edge boa breeder. It's not my focus is on ball pythons, but a moon glow boa or a snow glow. And he also made the world's first IMG snow, which is freaking ridiculous.
Damn.
And so I just want to pick up a couple of really, really amazing boas. I'm seeing if I can find a picture here, and just have them as pets. And maybe I do want to pick up a red dragon as well. I love the red dragon stuff.
I'm trying to make one. I mean, I should hopefully, if everything plans out, the female I have going to my blood hypo should hopefully fingers crossed. I haven't been good at breeding boas. I haven't bred them yet. So
yeah, he told me it's not the same as breeding balls. Like they're a little bit
different. I've been doing things, I've also did a little bit of mistakes and whatnot. If it's one thing you want to do with boas is always give them a hot spot. And humidity is really important as well, especially like with the smaller boas, not the bigger ones.
Yep.
So I'm definitely, I spiked their hot spot to like 92, 90, 95. And we'll see where that goes. Hopefully next year I'll have better luck. We'll see.
Here it is. His name is Greg Krushank.
Greg, wait, why did that? And he's from Canada?
No, he's from the States, and he's a big time boa guy. And
yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, he picked up a snake from me a couple of weeks ago. He's waiting on me to ship it. I've got my export coming up soon, but he's got some crazy cool boas. Christian from Morphendorphins has the Red Dragon game down pat right now in Canada. Big Dan, Big D Exotics. He made the world's first IMG snow. So I don't know, man. I just like Ozzy got me all started up in this boa thing, and now I'm starting to reach out to boa guys, and I'm like, I just got my head all over the place because the boa, like she's the coolest snake in my collection. I definitely want to add more to him. So. Really, really excited about that. Here, let me find. I remember sent him the picture of that snake from Big Dan, and I don't know, man. I'm all over the place right now. I really, really like this boa stuff. I'm starting to get. It's all an addiction. You know what I mean?
Dude, if you want to really talk about a boa addiction, why don't you get into emerald tree boas and watch where that takes you? They're amazing, bro. I mean, the thing that you'll probably be intimidated by is the size of their teeth. Their teeth are fucking.
I'll be honest. I'm not. You already know this. I'm not a fighter, dude. So if I see those teeth, I'd be running.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, they for the most part, they start off nippy or just kind of like aggressive. But now all my emeralds, I could reach in and just grab them. So they do calm down. But I'm telling you, like the way you like a boa, the body structure, the head, the fucking mouth, dude. And if you really start coming around emerald trees and you have confidence and know that they're not all fucking bad, it's a whole nother addiction. But you're getting there. Looks like you're getting there.
Yeah. So right now I'm just building a projects room for just some couple of retics and maybe a bunch of like maybe 6 or 7 boas tops.
Right.
I've heard the boas are really nasty and mine certainly is. She's calming down, but Christian from Morphendorphins told me like all of his adults, they do tame down. You work with them and you handle them frequently and they just relax and they become really, really awesome animals to work with.
Shout out to
Here
Christian.
it is. Here it is, by the way. So I just want to show you this really fast. So this was the world's first, and this thing had me lit up.
Damn.
It's like an IMG, world's first IMG snow glow or something like that. I forget. Excuse me, Dan, if you're watching this and I'm butchering this, but like it's got white eyes.
Damn, that's crazy.
So yeah, a bunch of the guys have been sending me pictures of boas, and I'm just like falling in love with the boa stuff.
Sick. I'm excited for you, man.
Thank you.
Looks like you are just really progressing and diversifying things, and it's because you're having fun with it, and that's all you can really do, man. Is have fun with what you're doing. It's what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly. That's it's my facility, and it's my full-time job, and I'm down there every single day working, and I just enjoy what I want to do. And once in a while, I want to go into my facility and just look at something different than a ball python. I'm not going to lie. I love my ball pythons. I really do. But there are days where I just, I like to pick up the boa or the retic. Retics are incredibly intelligent. Like their eyeballs, I've noticed, they actually move.
I don't want to say they're incredible. I don't want to say they're incredibly intelligent. I mean, they're like meatheads, bro. Like they're like muscle heads. They look beautiful. They look big, but they could be stupid as fucks. And you'll know what I'm talking about as they get older. But they are more alert. Like their eyes move. Like they
look at you.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? They make eye contact with you.
Have you seen it where they go cockeyed and they go whoop and their eyes come and they look at you? I mean, I've had mine do that quite a bit, and it's funny because you don't really see that in a ball python because the eyes are not designed like that. So
I could be wrong in this statement, and if somebody wants to correct me, they're more than welcome to, and I would love to listen. But personally, what I've noticed, I think ball pythons are a little more instinctual. I think they rely on instincts,
right?
Whereas like the retics are a little bit more, I wouldn't want to say problem solving, but they definitely are aware of their surroundings.
They figure it out.
When I pull my retic out, when she passes by my head and my face, she actually moves her eyeball and makes eye contact with me before she looks on and continues going forward. My ball pythons don't do that.
Yep.
So it's really cool to see.
I let go. I have one super dwarf which I kept, but all the other fucking 9+ retics that I had were majority dwarfs or mainland, and I got rid of most of them, but they're super dwarf. And OJ is my very first retic, and he's supposed to go to Brian Barczyk, but because of everything we're talking about, bro, like the instinct that like the eyes, I need to have one, man. I can't see myself letting go of every single retic. Like I love retics. I just don't think it's feasible for me to have 9+ retics because I'm just
me neither. It's too much,
Yeah, it's too much. It's not me. It's not my game plan. I don't want to breed retics. I just super admire them. So, that being said, I do have 2 big enough cages or enclosures that I could put shelvings and enclosures where they can at least do their thing versus just being flat on the floor being flat on the floor all the time. So I'm okay with that. I just can't provide that for fucking that many retics. So
it's funny too. My buddy told me that when retics defecate, they he says some of his larger females, they'll like drop a liter of piss.
Oh, dude, they call retic soup the worst. You'll see.
Yeah. So he's like, get a squeegee in a bucket. So I couldn't imagine doing that on a large scale.
Those things like a painter scraper, like those metal painter things. Yeah. You're going to want to get that too, my man. Trust me, because their urates are so big, but then they dry so quick and they stick to the PVC.
They're like cement.
Yeah. like cement. So like literally you'll like, if you have gloves on or you have fucking, and you're trying to like pick it up with a napkin, your gloves are going to rip right through because that shit's not going anywhere. So you have to get that scraper, and it's really easy, because I put mine on paper, and when there's a mess, I take the snake out and I use that scraper, just roll it up to one big burrito. You know what I mean? And then, I just get in the corners like you got to, and move on. And it's not that bad when you're only doing 1-2 retics. You know what I mean?
Imagine like a dozen or 15 of them.
I had at one point I had 14. You know what I mean? Like,
wow.
And it's just too much, man. And I can tell you the big eye opener for me is when I paired this year. I paired my retic for the first time, my boy OJ, and this motherfucker went psycho. He lost his mind. He literally went from the most chillest, amazing, my little puppy retic, to fucking biting himself. Like, this guy was fucking freaking out. Like, what I noticed one time is I paired him up. I literally watched him for like 45 minutes, and he was like all over her. He had the tail wiggling. Things looked good. So I took off. The next morning I come back. He has a hole in the side of him. Like, I'm talking about a hole like this big. And I'm like, what the fuck is that from? It freaked me out. I take him out. I put him in a bin. I soak him, and he just starts rumbling in the bin. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on with this snake? And like, I take the lid off, and he's like trying to bite. Okay. So as he's trying to bite, his body comes up, and he turns around and he bites his fucking body again. This fool's literally biting himself, and it's happening in front of me. And it doesn't take much for a retic's teeth to shred their skin. Their teeth are super sharp. Like, I'm talking about an adult retic. So anyways.
Great. So I'm excited now.
I'm just talking about, like, and this was all because I paired. Like, I got him in that mode. Like, he was like,
I've heard the same thing. Yeah.
Dude, it was.
And it's funny you mentioned the paper, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I moved all my animals off Coco to paper as well.
Oh yeah, you don't want put retics on Coco? That's a joke. Are you kidding me? You'd be wasting.
I had to take all my animals off Coco because I was suffering from a really, really bad allergies from all the dust in the cocoa, and it was making a mess in my facility. So I was like, it got so bad where my throat would get inflamed and my face would get all puffy. So I was like, I had to axe the cocoa completely.
Oh yeah, fuck
that. Go back to paper.
I've been on paper only because it's worked for me, and I'm in my room enough to where if I need to change something out, it's not a big deal. I don't fucking mind changing the paper out, and it's quick. I do paper.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody, for some reason, says that cocoa is easier to clean, and that's not true in my opinion, because you're dealing with all the dust in the tub. You're trying to get around it. You're taking out half. It takes like 3 to 5 minutes per tub to clean. When on paper, you just pick up the paper, squeegee the tub, or just wipe it down really fast. Boom, new piece of paper back in.
I don't give a fuck how sick of a spot cleaner you are. You don't always pick that shit up because you don't always see it. Like, it's sometimes shits could just be stuck to the fucking. It could get stuck to the bottom of the tub, and cocoa chip could just cover it. So you could just be picking stuff up and then, like, I feel like that's how people get mites off their cocoa chip, because they're just not picking up their shit and they leave it.
The biggest problem is the rats. So I have to, every single week when I do my feed, I have to do a deep clean after, because the rats shit like crazy. I mean, it's unbelievable how much a rat can shit in 5 minutes, right? So
all they do is eat, bro. They're just eating.
The rat's in the tub for 5 minutes, and there's like 20 pieces of shit smeared all over the place, and it's like
pretty gross.
I had my animals on cocoa for the first 2 years I was doing this, and I only changed my cocoa once every 3-4 weeks. I would do spot cleans in between, or if the tub got really bad after a shed, I would clean. But you think about it, is everybody really changing every single one of their tubs every single week after a feed from cocoa? Probably not. And all that rat shit, if you're feeding live, is staying behind in the cocoa. And I don't know. For me, it was a positive to go to paper, because I was able to keep my tubs clean all the time. And any mess, whether it was from the rat or from the snake, I was able to see it and pick it up right away.
Right. And, like I said, everything's to each their own.
Exactly.
I have nothing against cocoa chip. Shout out to Freedom Breeder. I am sponsored by Freedom Breeder, who actually, their cocoa chip is fucking fire. But I'm just saying, for me personally, like I said, I pay attention on what works for me. And the paper, it's just not a big deal to me. Like, it just gives me a bigger reason to make sure I'm on top of my collection. I also change my waters like almost every day. Like, I have a crazy habit ever since, who did I talk to? Oh, Matt Byram. Matt Byram says he does water changes every day. because he says, why would you want to leave a fucking water out for an animal for more than a week? Or not even more, I'm sorry, for a week, like for 7 days. Because people, and no disrespect to anyone, but this is coming from like my mentality, right? Like people think I do water changes every Sunday, right? But unless you have a fucking air purifier in your room, a legit ass one, you know how many particles and shit that are floating around in that water? And you don't know how quickly that animal could shit in that water 2 days, a day after you just gave it water. So I think a lot of people look past that and they just check that snake in a week. And I'm going to tell you what, right now, I've been to collections people who do that. And I've pulled tubs open, and I'm going to tell you how fucking disgusting and how nasty it is to see either shit that's been there for a couple days or something, or dirty water bowl. You know, I can only imagine that's fucked up for the snake. Like, what if the snake just gets thirsty and he goes and he's like, oh fuck, this is my water, but he's thirsty, but you're forcing the snake to drink shit water. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I do my water changes twice a week, like every 3 days.
Every 3 days, right? That makes sense. I just like me in my head once a week that's not cool. That's for my animals. I don't think that's cool. If you have to, like, let's say you're going on vacation or some shit. Yeah, I mean, you'll be fine. It's not going to kill your collection. But if you can, fresher the water, happier the animal, I think, man. Think about how much they drink in the fucking wild. Any opportunity they could drink, they can in the wild, they drink, right? And the water in the wild is, for the most part, it's continuously being fresh, or it's being, filtered by some plant or something, I don't know. I don't want to get too geeky about it, but I'm just saying, I feel like the water thing is definitely overlooked. And I feel like people should pay attention more to that,
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah. All right, man. I have a wrap-up question for you, JP, before we get into the hot seat questions. Okay. This has been a great episode, by the way. This has been amazing.
Thank you.
Let me ask you, man, for a lot of people who are part of my Patreon page love the fact that they could be a part of a community and not really be worried about what their question is or what their opinion is on certain things. And that's how I roll, man. Everyone should have their thing, right? But not everyone's a part of the trap and whatnot, and that's okay. But what's your advice for somebody out there who's super passionate about getting into this, right? Like, imagine when you first started, JP, right? But they just don't know where to get help or how to ask for help or what community to be a part of and stuff. Because you know how things could be, how political things could be, how one person says one thing, right? But what's your opinion on that, on what direction somebody should start or where they should go?
Well, I think the first topic that we talked about was very important. I think, everybody knows, and it's a pretty generalized answer when people say, do your research, do all that stuff on the snakes. The first thing I would say is one of the biggest mistakes that I made was the rodent thing. So we already touched on the rodent stuff. If you guys are going to buy snakes, you're going to buy collections, or you're going to get into this, again, if you've got 20 or 30 snakes, not a big deal. But when you start getting into 100, 150, 200 snakes, you need to have some plan in place and a backup plan for food. And it's not as simple and easy as everybody. Some people like Justin live next door to a guy who produces 50,000 rats a week. Kumbaya. Not everybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? Not everybody has that luxury. Some people like me, if my guy disappears, I got to drive 3 hours just to get rats.
Hey, you think he took that in consideration before he bought that property? Do you think he knew that, or did that guy move there?
Oh, I think it was planned. I mean, if he runs out of a production, he's got, rats on tap next door to him on a massive scale. I mean, this guy had when I was there, he was like an aircraft hangar. I've never seen. Right. It was like a never-ending aisles of rats. I couldn't believe it. Right. So please, just do your research. Make sure you have a contingency plan in place, because there's nothing that sucks more. It's also kind of dangerous, because if you're in the middle of the season and your animals go off food and some of your females are stubborn and still push forward and produce, they might end up being a little too thin for it. Luckily, it hasn't happened to me, but I've heard of it happening. And it was one of the concerns I had about my leopard clown pies, which thank God it didn't happen. But one of the concerns is that, if this snake or snakes produce stubbornly with very little calories, they might end up looking really frail and lethargic, and it could actually be fatal for them coming out of laying a clutch. So it's so important to make sure that you have a plan in place for your rodents and a backup plan, as well as some people have it backwards. And this wasn't my mentality. Some people criticized me in the beginning with how much energy I was investing into social media. But the truth is, guys, the reason why I spent so much time working on my social media in the beginning is because I bought all hatchlings. I had nothing to work with. I wasn't breeding. I wasn't doing nothing but cleaning animals. So I wanted to make good use of my time. And now we're kind of like switch the wheel. Now that I'm 3 years in and I'm actually producing, the production side is now taken over. I don't need to work as hard on my social media as I did in the beginning because now my animals speak for itself. So if you're coming into it, invest the time into building your brand, your social media, getting your name out there so people know who you are and have a face to the name. And then over time, you can switch your mentality into more production side once you get there and focus less on social media and let your animals do the talking later on. So I think it's really important. Some people's mentality is, I'm not going to do social media until my animals are breeding. Well, that's great, but now you're breeding animals. Nobody knows who you are and you're not selling steaks.
Exactly.
Right? So please put in the time to do that. I think it's super important. Buy quality stuff. Focus less on the money. If you have the capital to work with, I think it's better to work with fewer high-end animals than it is with a lot of lower-end animals just in today's landscape. And, I don't know how other people, again, everybody's different, but I have a hard time selling snakes under $500. It takes me forever to move them, right. But I sell snakes at, multi-$1,000s in 24 hours. So don't be afraid. I know some people are afraid. It is a scary concept. When I first jumped into it, trust me, the amount of money that people were throwing around buying up some of these snakes, it blew my mind. I couldn't believe that this was a thing. And I know it's very scary when you're entering the world of unknown, but trust me when I say the industry is live, it's vibrant. You Americans have it so much easier than we do up in Canada. I mean, you can walk into a FedEx store and put a snake on a plane for $50. I just shipped 8 animals to the States a month ago, and it costed me $2,600 to get them there. And it came out of my dollar because I don't charge my customers for shipping. I ate that all myself, right? So you Americans especially have it amazing. If you're Canadian and you're watching this, you have just as much opportunity as the Americans to making a great business. It just will take a little bit more investment than those maybe in America can, just because of how expensive it is for us to distribute and where the demand is. So don't be afraid. The business side is there, and focus on the animals. I mean, put money second. Look, like I talked about the Dreamsicle clutch. I had an opportunity to make a clutch that could be worth, $15,000, but I chose to make a different side of it and go after an animal that I was hoping to make for the future. And the clutch was of significant less value because everything didn't turn out that great. So focus on your production and your breeding and your future. And if you do that, money will come alongside of it with the quality and the future. So those are just little tips I have. If there's anything that you think I can add, there's a lot more to it, of course, but we're short on time, I'm sure. So I'm trying to summarize it as best I can. And hey, just have fun with it, and don't be afraid to reach out to people. There are some bigger breeders that I know that are a little bit more challenging to get a hold of, and don't necessarily give you as much time as you would like. If you want to reach out to me and you want to ask me anything, we've already talked about this. If it's 4:00 in the morning and I got to use a washroom and I see a missed message, I'm going to answer it before I go back to bed. Simple as that.
Washroom, bro, you're too much.
It happens every single time, dude. And my partner gives me shit for it. She's like, "Why are you doing this at 4 a.m?" Because she wakes up and I'm like, "It's a customer. It's even if you're not buying a snake, you never know when you might become a customer. So treat everybody right. Even if somebody is not a buyer of you today, doesn't mean they're not going to be a buyer later on. Give everybody the time of day. Give everybody the respect they deserve. Treat everybody as a potential customer, and build the relationships, and everything else will come." And I don't pretend to have all the answers. I'm only 3 years in. I'm still learning. And there's probably things that I can improve on today, and I'm going to continue to improve and learn. And I welcome any criticism. If anybody has any ideas or things that I could change, I'm always open to it. And that's what else can I say, man? I mean, it's the whole package. It's not just buying animals and breeding animals. There's more to it than that.
And that's coming from the man, JP himself, the up and comer, man. I love it. This has been good shit, JP. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I've said this the first time I brought you on. You are somebody who I will always have on this show. Yeah, like I fuck
Thank
with you.
You gotta message me more often to be on the show.
Yeah, say what?
You gotta ask me more often, dude. I get bored. Oh, yeah. I get sad when you don't call me up.
Hey man, no offense, but the list is pretty big. There's a lot of people that I'm bringing on the show. But like I said, I've been wanting to catch up with you. I want to see what's been going on, and it's great. It's been all good things, man. And you got a lot of support. We had consistently throughout this time 80 people watching. The likes are over at 80. So this has been good shit, man. I gotta say, but I do have hot seat questions for you. It's not gonna be that easy. You can't just go back and being a dad and go to sleep all happy. Okay.
No, I'm gonna be up for another 4 hours, so don't worry.
All right, here we go. So we have hot seat questions for the man JP. Okay, and, JP, please, no explanation. Just need you to just give me your answer. Okay. So here we go. Hot seat questions for JP coming in hot. Frozen thawed or live, JP?
I wish it was frozen thawed, but unfortunately it's live.
But if you could pick, you'd be frozen thawed.
If I could be as efficient with live as frozen thawed, then I would go frozen thawed because there's a lot less mess to clean up at the end of feeding.
Got it. A cut or no cut?
I do cut, but I don't cut too early. I wait either till a pip or at least day 55. Now, I want to expand on that really fast, only because I do run my incubator at 89 degrees Fahrenheit. It's the same temp that Justin runs at and many other people run at. But for some reason, my eggs are not even soft until like day 57. And I've never had a baby come out before day 57. So I used to do what the industry standard was, or at least that's how I was taught, was to cut at day 52. But my babies wouldn't come out till like day 60 or day 61 fully. So I decided to move that back. Why I'm telling everybody this is because just be patient. Don't cut too early. Let the snakes, let the eggs dimple up. Let the snakes tell you when they're ready. If you notice that your snakes are like mine, where they take an extra week to come out after you cut, you're probably cutting too early, and just wait a bit longer.
Not how the hot seat questions work, JP, but I appreciate you. All right. It's big flexor or no flexor?
Was that?
I said big flexor or no flexor?
Well, I don't really have much left, but I would still try to big flex.
There you go. All day, every day. Respect.
Until Miguel folds me into a pretzel.
Hockey or European football?
Hockey sucks.
Damn. Are you a fan of soccer or European football at all?
I'm a basketball guy.
Cool. All right. So who's
You're
your
making
favorite
me miss the Lakers game, by the way.
team?
My favorite team?
So you're Lakers guy.
I don't really have a favorite team because I just like to watch entertaining basketball. So if my team sucks, I'm not going to watch them. I'll pick whatever team is putting on the best show.
You're so funny. Oh my God. Steak or fish?
Was that sink or swim?
Steak or fish?
Snake or fish? What do you mean?
No, steak.
Oh, steak or fish? Oh, 100% steak, of course.
Perfect. All right. Eminem or Machine Gun Kelly?
Who's Machine Gun Kelly?
Perfect. So Eminem, right? I love that answer.
The Slim Shady? I don't know. I would say neither.
How can you? I need you to pick one or the other, JP. Please, you're killing me right now.
Hey, I live by my own rules, so I pick neither.
I can't argue that. West Coast rap or East Coast rap?
West Coast. I hate the East Coast. No, I'm joking.
Oh shit! I was like, God damn, bro.
I'm just joking. It doesn't matter.
That's how Biggie got shot, bro. Just chill.
It doesn't matter.
Right. Favorite thing to cook?
I don't cook. Since I've moved into this new house, I haven't once turned on the stove. And I feel blessed for that.
You haven't made any mayonnaise tacos for your wife or your lady recently?
She does all the cooking, and not by choice. It's because the stuff that I make is unedible. So she refuses to let me cook. Otherwise, we will starve.
Oh, my God.
Not one of my skill sets.
Red wine or white wine?
No wine.
No wine. Okay.
I don't drink any alcohol.
Respect. Me neither. I'm over it. It's been a long time. I had a Truly on my Florida trip, which I never had a Truly before, and I didn't understand. It made my stomach hurt. I'm good. I'm not a drinker, period, anymore. So
the last time I had a drink was 6 years ago, probably.
Respect. All right, little word association. First thing to come to mind: milk.
Oh, I was going to say something bad there. White. Sorry, man. You caught me off guard.
I know. Cocoa.
Chocolate.
Stuck shed.
Crap.
First clutch.
Amazing.
Day 52.
Too early.
Instagram trolls.
Who needs them?
YouTube stars.
Don't care.
Pet tubers.
Definitely don't care.
You got to get one. You got to get rid of one and one forever. Instagram or Facebook? Which one has to go?
Oh, Facebook, 100%.
I would say the only big reason why I would always keep that Facebook is because of people like Mark Bailey. And I'm just going to end it at that.
That's the only thing I look at on Facebook.
Hey, JP, what an amazing time, man. I got to say thank you again for giving us an update, letting us know how things been on your end of the stick. I'm very happy for you. I'm happy that you're a dad, you're a family man. Things are going well. Seems like you're coming very far, man. I mean, I could tell you just from this conversation based off the last podcast we have, not that it was anything bad, but man, it feels like your mentality has evolved so much and you're going in the right place. So what do you have to say to all your supporters out there? You got a lot of people who fuck with you, JP. So what do you got to say to everyone who looks up to you, everyone rooting for you and all that?
I can't express enough appreciation. I mean, like I said, I'm one of those guys who shot for a dream and mortgaged my entire future on that dream. And I will never forget that. Without the awesome support of the people who follow me and who are customers and are going to be future customers, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. And I just have a big thank you to everybody. Everybody's support in me and trusting me has led me to, work from home, be here for my daughter 24/7 with my partner, and just spend more time with family and just pursue my dreams. And I just am so thankful for everything that has happened over the last 3 years. And I'm not going anywhere. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be haters out there. And I haven't heard from them in a long time. I don't even know where they are. They're probably still there somewhere, but they're
where are they at? Who knows? Who
cares? They're under a rock somewhere because I don't even pay attention.
They're trying to figure out what they could say, man, and they're probably just writing things down and they're reading it and like, oh man, that's not good enough, man. So,
exactly.
Who knows?
So I want to tell everybody really fast. I do appreciate the patience. You all know I will be getting back to YouTube here very soon. I have some ideas for some videos. We're going to be vlogging the new rodent operation. When I say operation, I just mean like a small little ASF thing. But people are asking me about, the racks, the building, and all that stuff. And then we're going to be doing more vlogging on the facility. The first couple of months with my daughter was so challenging. She was very colicky, and there was absolutely no time for me to do that. And my animals always come first, keeping them clean, keeping my facility clean, and taking care of everything. So as the next month or two roll around and I just get some more time on my hand, you will see me more often on YouTube. My Instagram is always there. If you guys have any questions, you want to reach out to me. Like I said, I'm not as good as answering my DMs just because I get so many of them every single day. But if you want a little tip, you can go to my Morph Market page, which please do. If you guys are not following me on Morph Market, because everybody always asks me, how do I get a JP snake? I don't know what's going on with the market. Last year, every snake I posted sold within like 24 hours, almost everything. Like, it's just crazy how the demand is. So if you guys want first crack, you have to follow my Morph Market page. If you don't have a Morph Market account, it's free to make. It takes a couple of minutes. If you hit the follow button on my Morph Market page at the top right, you get instantly notified every single time I post something. That's where you find my stuff for sale really fast. And I'm looking forward to the future. Like I said, I'm going to be doing YouTube here very soon. Just let me get through this challenging time with my daughter, which it's turned a corner. She's doing really well now, and you will be seeing me more often. And if you have any questions, I'm here whenever you need it. And MJ, please call me more often and say hi. And
I will.
I'm still taking you up on it. You owe me a taco night in San Diego.
Hold on.
Like, you owe that to me. You told me if I come to San Diego.
Wristband. Wait, your wristband's here. Okay. I thought I got rid of it. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I sold it to somebody. But no,
one?
Your taco VIP wristband. I got you. It's still here. So
okay. Well, you promised to show me authentic because you claimed that my Mexican cuisine wasn't authentic.
I'm paying for it too, buddy. Not only that, I'm
you're the man.
I'm taking care of JP for like fullest. I'm gonna give you everything you need while you visit here. I'm telling you right now.
So Hannah says time for reels. I'll see you guys on the reels.
Yeah, for reals. Hey, for reals, keep it reals. Let's go.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm doing a reel before. Hey, everyone, do me a favor. Everyone, drop a reel tonight before you go to sleep. I'm dropping a reel.
You don't want to do that because you want to post reels at the hot times of the day. Another little tip for you.
I was gonna let them do that, and then I was gonna do it in the morning. You fucked it up.
Oh yeah. Okay. Good.
Damn it. I'm just kidding. Hey, have a good night, JP. Thank you so much.
You too, and thanks for having me, man.
We'll be in touch. We'll talk soon, and keep doing what you're doing, man. You're killing it, man. Papa Bear in the house right here.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, have a good night,
cheers,
man.
brother.
All right, cheers. Whew, JP, round 2 in the books. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you guys for tapping in. Great night. I knew this was going to be amazing, and everyone being here made it even that more amazing. So thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Thursday nights, and make sure you guys are ready for this Saturday morning. It's going down, okay? We're going to be going to the colubrid side of things. We got this man, Shane Woolridge, who's out of fucking the Evergreen State in Washington. He's breeding king snakes, false water cobras, fucking you name it, man. And guess what else he's breeding? And I'm sure Krista, Josh, you guys are going to be happy about this one. But he breeds hog noses. Some sick-ass hog noses, if I may say so myself. So I'm going to have my first hognose breeder on the show. What do you guys think about that? So make sure you set that a reminder. Go down, link below. Set that reminder. Be ready to tap in 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time this Saturday morning. I'm going to start your guys' weekend nice and proper. You feel me? And again, man, if you guys want to reach out to me, if you guys want to get in contact with me, best way is on Instagram, mjexoticscartal with an A, not an E. And make sure you go follow the podcast page, Trap Talk with MJ Podcast. We're also, guys, on Apple, Spotify, Buzzsprout. So if YouTube really isn't your thing, and, you know, because I know how annoying it is, how if you don't pay fucking them money and you swipe up or you click out, it just stops playing. Well, listen, we're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on other platforms, man. So I got to say, thank you so much for all the support. And if this was your first time tapping in, please hit that subscribe button. Do me a favor. I do appreciate all the likes. I appreciate that 1 or 2 or probably get 3 dislikes. It don't matter, but it does mean something. So thank you so much. Drop a comment. Let me know how you're liking the guest. Let me know how you're liking the show. And just be ready. Like I said, it's going to go down this Saturday. And shout out to JP one more time. Shout out to everyone who supports JP, everyone who supports the trap. You guys are it. And we're going to go hard for you guys, man. But have a wonderful night. And yeah.